Imagine
Okay,
instead of getting shot and having a level horizon to look for your enemy, you're gonna be looking up at the clouds and a bush. Where the hell is your enemy?
I like it better. I like it better.
Oh no,
dude, you can't.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the Poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I'm Veritas, and I am both mad and disappointed.
Mad and disappointed.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate combination. At what?
This fucking podcast, dude.
Oh. Yeah, I'm really interested to get through some of this. So you watched it, right?
I watched it, yeah, and then so I waited until it was like I watched the beginning of it, and then I ended up getting into like a scav raid because I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just play a little bit of Tarkov, and then I was watching the VOD so that I could pause it because I think my reaction to it is probably going to be the first reaction video on my main channel. I haven't posted a video on my main channel in like 4 months, so like literally, I don't maybe 2.5, 3 months, something like that. So yeah, that might be the first React video. I'm still gathering people's recommendations for what I could do React content. Have a ton of people come in and be like, I'm so ready for Veritas React content. I was like, oh
hell
shit.
Dude.
I didn't know that people were going to be so into it.
I didn't know the people wanted it.
But yeah, watch the podcast, the Tarkov TV one with Nikita, the dumbest scab I've ever seen, and Demirka.
Yep.
Yeah, and there was just one thing that made me extremely fucking sad.
Just one though, that's nice.
Yeah, all the rest of it made me feel literally nothing.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I played Tarkov for a few hours today.
And you were playing, were you playing like yesterday or at some other point this week? I thought I saw you playing.
Yeah, I reset my account and I got to like level 4 or something, and I was just like, oh, I actually had a couple of good raids. The first scav run I did, which is weird because I haven't done scav runs in a year because scav karma. Yeah. Spawned in on reserve, walked around aimlessly for a bit, VoIPed with some scavs, and I look over by where the train comes in, and there's like a pile of dead bodies and like 7 player scavs all just like looking at each other, all fucking looting and whatever. I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing I'm gonna get from over there. Someone hits the button, I look around, I loot, I kill a scav that was like hostile, and then I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like the train's still there. I'm like, maybe I'll just go check out those bodies. And then I walk over and one of the bodies is Gluhar unlooted. This is the first run of the fucking white. So I was like, grab the M1, grab the magazines full of M61, grab his armor. What the hell? Yeah, so and actually I still have it. I survived with it pretty much all day today.
Nice.
I think I only died once or twice. And the first time was to a cheater. I'm 98.999% sure. Even had a nice little chat conversation with him. Basically, like, he didn't straight out admit it, but I was like, I sent him a message and he was like, who are you? And I was like, oh, I didn't tell him that he killed me because then he's just be like, oh, you're just salty. But he was a standard edition, standy, like level 40 something.
Yeah.
And I had run into the first floor of, is the crack house the 2-story one with like the med room upstairs?
There's the room where you can open the library and there's like intel on the shelves and stuff.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's crack house.
So I walked in like the front door on like the riverside.
Okay.
And then you know how you can turn right or you can go kind of straight out the door.
Yep.
So there was somebody somewhere to my right. So I actually went over and then sat by the door and just like basically held the entrance and just waited there for like 5 minutes. And I was just kind of talking with chat or whatever. And then we hear a bunch of gunshots and stuff over by where the dead scav is through the hole in the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And then we hear 2 dudes sprinting over. They run around a little bit. And I'm like backs to the door. Doors closed and everything. And I'm just waiting there, like not leaning, trying not to ADS, like not making any noise. And a dude comes to the door. And then instantly, Jiggle Peak looks, Jiggle Peak starts shooting. I'm like, fuck, like really?
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's a common place now for people to be, but like the dude just jiggle peeks, fucking starts. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. I go out the door. It's raining, by the way, so you can't hear really much of anything.
Yeah.
I run all the way over to where, towards where like the pocket watch is, like in that direction on the other side of the fences and everything. And then I like drop my backpack. I wait like a minute, run all the way around to some of like the shipping containers that's between kind of in like a triangular shape in between Crack House and Fortress. I was over on that side all the way around, and I was waiting there holding the guy to come out the front door and to like peek, and the dude jiggle peek kills me, and it's like fuck off, dude. It's like, so I sent him a friend request and I was like, yo, you selling? And he's like, selling what? I was like, dog, I'm like, what's your provider? I'm like, I know, I went with the what's your provider line. You remember that?
Yep, I do remember that.
I'm like, dog, I could tell, like my hacks, it was obvious, dude. I could tell. He's like, oh, my KD. And I was like, not just that. And I was like, dog, he wouldn't tell me. He asked me, he's like, well, what are you using? And I went and I Googled fucking Tarkov cheats because I'm like, I don't know any of the fucking.
Yeah. Oh, my Jesus.
So I said, the first results, I said the name. And then I was just thinking about all the times I've been into like the cheat forums and stuff and looked to see what these like degens are talking about. And I remember, especially from CSGO days, how they all refer to it as cheesing. They always talk about it as cheesing because no one wants to say they cheat, right? It's almost like they need to change the words to make themselves fucking feel better. So I was like, dog, if you're gonna cheese, you're gonna make it less obvious. He's like, dude, I've been playing the game 3 years. If there's anything I've learned is that whether you're blatant or not, it doesn't matter. Damn. So again, maybe he wasn't admitting it, but there's a bunch of stuff he said that like he never denied it. And then he asked for my Discord. So I gave him my alt Discord account because I have an alt one that I used actually back when I did the whole Fiverr thing.
Oh yeah,
I still have that, so I had to like log into that. I gave him. He hasn't sent me any messages yet that I know of. Nah, he hasn't. But
freaking interesting.
But of course, we had the people that were like, "I don't know, dude, seem legit." I'm like, yeah, he didn't fly through the door or like fly through the wall and like insta tap me. But it's like you have knowledge that you shouldn't have. It's not like he checked. In Tarkov, there's 8 million angles no matter where you're standing. There's a million places you could be. And when you're in a very specific thing and you know that they're just sprinting and then insta peeking when you're at some weird off angle, it's like fuck off. And then they do it once, twice, 3 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And if somebody insinuates that you're cheating and you're not, isn't one of the first things you say is like, dude, I'm not cheating. Like, you know what I mean? Not like one thing I've learned is that it doesn't matter if you're blatant or not. That's such a sus thing to say. Oh, rip.
But again, so that was like the only time I really died. I ended up getting a ton of PMC kills. I had a really sick like stalking an airdrop, getting in multiple fights, repositioning. Like, I killed a dude who had like a slick and a decked out AK and stuff, and I basically had the starting gear, plus the Gluhar kit, and having the M1 with the Voodoo is a game
huge.
I mean, the Voodoo is everything.
It's everything. Yeah.
If it was an AK or a Vepr, it would have been the same, regardless, because I face tapped the guy and he just had a normal like non-face shield helmet. But I guess the sad thing for me was just after that raid, someone was like, dude, you might not be loving Tarkov or whatever, but you have to admit that raid made you feel good. I'm like, honestly, I'm fucking bored. Yeah. It was great and everything, but like, and this isn't even necessarily a dig at the game. It's just more of like, I played it so much. I'm just, it's just the same shit.
You've just had thousands of those raids where you were like, yes, like the plan worked out. I won. I got the loot. You know what I mean? Without, we talked way back in the day about like what comes next. How do you make this a mainstay game? How do you make this something with long-term replayability? And if if it's just the same, if it's the same as it was a year ago when you were like loving, you know what I mean? Like, where's the progression? What's the something more? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it felt all right. I'm not too mad at the sus encounter. Now, the first day I did play, it was a couple of good raids, and then the last raid was on factory, and I like wiped out the whole lobby, and then got impact grenade exit camped.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was like a nice reminder. Like, oh yeah, right. I have to remember that 25 minutes into a fucking factory raid, I need to wait for the PMC to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall the game felt fine. It felt good. I didn't have any moments of desync other than like the care package coming down, going like,
oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
But like none of the combat felt shitty. I killed a 2 or 3 man in dorms.
Nice.
There was a couple. The only sound issues I had were VoIP, where I think I was on reserve and the dudes were like in like the second floor hallway talking to me through the window, and they were like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
what?
I can't hear you. I can't fucking hear you. Sorry, bro.
Have you have you had this audio bug yet where, let's say you're sprinting and you reload, okay? The XY position of where you are when you initiate that reload is where all of the audio of the beginning, middle, and end of the reload come from. So hundreds of times this raid, this white, me and Ben and Seal and Velian and Geeks, you'll be running and you'll reload and then we'll 180 real quick because the inserting of the mag happens behind us because we're sprinting. And I'm like, yo, someone's right here.
It just puts like
a
note, a sound
pin,
node,
yeah.
and you run by it. Yeah.
Yes, and it does that with nods. You can be sprinting and turn your nods on and hear the pew of the nods turning on, and we like flip around real quick, and it's like, oh, that was just me. It's so weird.
So now the annoying thing when you'd like open up a bag and you're looting it, and then you'd walk away, and then like a second later you hear the zipping up of the bag.
Yes.
It's like that, but with fucking
with
literally
your
everything
own
else.
audio and your teammates. It'll be the same thing. So it's not just client side. If Seal is running and he starts a reload and then I cross paths with him, he'll be on my left, but his reload sound will be on my right. Like it's weird. It's weird, man.
Yeah, I didn't experience that. I didn't actually experience many bugs. Other than the really sus guy. Like I said, everything felt good. But
good.
Yeah. It actually reminded me of, and of course I ran into the, and a bunch of these folks are actually still in chat, where they'd be like, you know, Steam audio is bad, and someone else would be like, yo, have you, the whole cheater conversation that we had last week, rehashing that whole thing, and then like, you know what we really need is a replay system. It's like, fucking, oh my god, like. Like you would think that the half a dozen things that we talked about in the last 2 episodes, like you would think that the few people that were trolling just how but I mean that's just Tarkov. There's 7 fucking things to talk about.
Yeah.
Every single one of them I made a 17-hour video on that nobody wants to watch, and even if they do watch, they forget all about it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I went a little crazy, but somebody. And this is funny because I had actually made the comment that was like, listen, part of the reason why I get so tired of these conversations is just because it's everybody thinks that everybody has this idea, like they post a paragraph and there's two assumptions I think they start with. One is that it has to be a novel idea that nobody is like, it's genius. It's a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Nobody's thought about it. And it's like a revelation that they have to share, like oh my God, why don't they just get an anti-cheat or whatever?
Yeah.
And or the second one is they just think that we're all fucking idiots and would have never considered it. There's like it's some combination of that it's like, because otherwise why would you say it? Why would you type it if you
and with
thought,
such
like,
urgency? Like, yeah.
And I had just basically been like, I talked about that and was just kind of like, I'm just kind of like tired of, the same old thing. And somebody said, it sounds like Oh, okay, right. So then my other comment there was like, I think 3 times in the last 3 years, somebody has actually come forth with a paragraph of things or whatever that was like 300 IQ.
I
Like,
never
I
thought
never
about
thought
that.
about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, like we've had a couple on the podcast.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 or whatever. And and then somebody like 2 minutes later said, I think what you're experiencing might be compassion fatigue. And I was like, I had never heard that, but instantly was like, just context clues of the my understanding of Latin and context clues tells me that you know, like and I'm like, holy shit, that was one of the things that was like, ching, I'd never heard of the term, never thought about it. I'm like, holy shit, someone actually fucking bringing something new to the table. So I instantly Googled it. And it basically says compassion fatigue is similar to burnout, but burnout usually stems from having too much work or too many responsibilities. Compassion fatigue comes from helping others. You want to keep helping, but you're overwhelmed from being exposed to like all of the trauma, confusion, you know, frustration or whatever. Like burnout, it's a process. It takes time to develop. It keeps building slowly to a point where you start to not care about yourself or others in your life. I was like, that sounds like me right now.
Wait a minute.
I just like don't give a fuck anymore. I'm so desensitized to all of the stuff in Tarkov and all the stuff outside of Tarkov that I'm just apathetic to the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. That's
apathetic at best.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting. Apathetic coming from a place of education. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go back to your YouTube catalog, right? Like, you've literally spent probably thousands of hours putting together content for the purpose of educating and helping people. And to like have that start and end in such a frustrating place. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm at with Tarkov. We are going to talk about, probably spend all of this, the rest of this after maybe we get a few things out of the way first.
Yeah.
Because we'll probably spend the rest of it talking about
the podcast
and the Tarkov TV. Couple updates. I got a bunch of YouTube channel recommendations in my DMs and in the comments. One of the ones I've been binging was one called Nexpo, Nexpo.
Nexpo.
I have like a love-hate with this because I instantly jumped in, started watching like their latest video, and was like, okay, I can tell that they make good content. I'm like, this one just isn't pulling me in. And then I found a playlist called Disturbing Things from Around the Internet. And it was like volume 1 through 12. And the first few started off like almost like creepypasta kind of shit. You know, there's a video of a Dora doll moving in the corner, you know, that like looks like it's creepy and haunted. And it's a little credulous and like lacking a bit of skepticism and stuff, where it's like, I can't think of any other explanation other than like the Dora doll's haunted or whatever. It's like, I can kind of put that, you know, I'll just take it as entertainment and take my skeptical, critical thinking hat off. But then halfway through, it starts to get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, this is like what you're seeing is footage of like a nightclub during like there's like a heavy metal band playing, and they have pyrotechnics, and then like they go through the video and the pyrotechnics catch the place on fire and 100 people die, and you hear like from the perspective of like a dude's phone who's like running out, and you see all of the people panicking, and it's like it borderlines on like snuff film shit towards the end. And it's kind of like, man, I find myself watching videos like that. One of them was, there was a dude who like vlogs, like an old man. He just seems like a nice old man that like vlogs on YouTube. And one of the videos he posted was like, she slept in. And he walks in and his wife's got a fan on and she's sleeping in the bed. And he's like, oh, she sleeps in. Yeah, she doesn't normally sleep in. But and he goes on about how she always gets, and she was dead. And the video's like still up, and there's just like a weird thing around how like he walks in, films his wife, talks about her for a little bit, and like it's just gets really morbid. And the more I watch that stuff, I find it fascinating, but also in like I start to feel not good. Like I start to feel not
that's
good.
Weird. Yeah.
No. So I probably
it's like not the energy that you need. You know what I mean? Like,
there's 13 and I've watched 12, so I'm probably just gonna watch the 13th and be like, I need to, you know, like you can't spend your days on like Live Leak watching,
Yeah.
watch this car accident where someone dies. Like
No.
I used to be able to do it when I was younger,
Especially
like
if you're
watch
already
some of that.
stressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But fuck, man. So I'm gonna. It's well produced. I'm gonna see what other content he has, but yeah, it kind of like
just puts you in a weird way.
Some of them are interesting.
Yeah, for sure. There's
but
like
some of them are also like, oh god, I really want to skip fucking forward, but my curiosity gets me.
There's a weird thing, man, like a weird psychological curiosity that obviously makes that type of content successful, but it's weird. It scratches some weird part of the brain, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and there's some like I never, and maybe it's part of it's good and part of it's bad, and part of it's like healthy and realistic, that like I don't ever fear many things. Like I'm not worried about, like if my wife's like, did you lock the front door? I'm like, I locked it. She's like, are you sure? Can you double check? I'm like, fuck. Like,
yeah,
I'm not worried about someone coming to my house and whatever. But then like you watch enough of this shit and then you start to feel really like I am just
like exposed
bag of flesh with organs, and there are some fucked up people. Like one of the ones that just really gives me chills is just a woman hears something and she goes outside, stands on her front porch, and you just hear blood curdling female voice screaming from somewhere in the neighborhood, saying like, oh my god, help me, for like 30 seconds. And it's like, half of me is like, fucking do something.
Yeah.
Like if you're an old lady and you're not going to get involved, grab the phone, call the police.
Yep.
I would grab the phone, call the police, grab my fucking gun, and start running. Like, although you have to think very carefully. So part of it is I like these things because they let you almost like not rehearse, but think about, my initial gut reaction is grab my gun and go help. But then it's like when the cops come, they're going to see a dude running around with a gun, and you're going to, so then it allows you to take a step back and to think, but yeah, like, it's also like, what happens? They hear the screaming, and then it's like nobody ever knows what happened. Or there was one of them where like a car drove up and you hear screaming and oh my god, and then all of a sudden he like pulls her into a car, drives away, and you just hear her screaming, and then he yells out the window like, I'm sorry, and then she was never heard from again. And it's from the perspective of like her doorbell camera.
Jesus.
It's like, that stuff fucks with me, man, because it's like, oh god, like I don't want to be in a car with my hands taped up, fucking. Anyway, I need to. I wouldn't, if any of you guys are like squeamish or have honestly like any mental health issues, I just wouldn't. I just
don't
wouldn't
do
recommend
it. Don't do it.
But I need to. I'm gonna watch some more content because it's well produced and everything.
Yeah. That's
so
weird,
then
man.
There's that, and then I 100%ed Vampire Survivors.
Oh, I saw you playing it. Did you? You finished it?
Yeah. It was. I mean, you can still play it like infinitely.
Yeah, but you got past 29 minutes, or was that where was 32 minutes or whatever when Dracula would come and kill you?
So it was like death. Or whatever, the Grim Reaper, he comes at like 30 minutes exactly. Like at 30 minutes, there's like everybody dies, and then you see like he just runs at you. Like, you remember Ski Free on Windows from back? I think we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. The little downhill 2D skiing game.
Oh,
on Windows,
yeah.
Where you'd be skiing and all of a sudden you'd see like fucking the Yeti would come and just kill you.
Yeah.
There's something horrifying about just seeing a 2D sprite go onto your sprite and then just like violently shake. You're just like, oh god, and that's exactly what happens. You just freeze in place, and then your health bar goes to 0. But there are like item combinations and strategies to make it so like you can kill him, and the game is much deeper than I thought. In very much the same way that The Binding of Isaac was.
Yeah.
Where it was like the first time I killed him, I'm like, sick, and then all of a sudden it like starts to get distorted, and then you're in like a fucking fever dream level, and I'm like running and screaming like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden it's like this other thing, and you realize like, oh, there's 20 other characters that you get to unlock. Like, it unlocks a whole other Yeah, so
That's
would
awesome.
still recommend it. It's fucking
Freaking
awesome.
Vampire Survivors. That's so sick.
But I in the last week I've had a complete and utter shift from back in the day I used to play Tarkov, and then all I would do is be frustrated and grumpy that there's no other games to play. Like I would play anything else if there was anything.
Yeah.
And now I've found all of these games. I'm really enjoying that. It's almost like, oh yeah, I realized that like basically any video game is you're gonna have fucking fun with.
Yep.
So now I'm like, I really want to go back and check out Power Washing Sim because it's hit 1.0 and I haven't played it in forever.
Oh.
Heartspace Shipbreaker. I want to go back and play
Oh,
all
yeah.
the DLCs and everything. The Isaac. So yeah, I've like totally shifted to like I'm fucking full variety streamer. Like fuck it.
And you've got like a bunch of stuff you want to play, like not just one or two games. That's cool.
It's flipped
That's good.
totally around. So
That's a good thing.
so there we are. What have you been up to? Just in Tarkov land?
Yep. Just in Tarkov land.
No Star Citizen?
No, but there has been some pretty big updates and some pretty big stuff is coming soon.
The Scam Citizen?
Yeah, basically. They're testing out their like server meshing technology that they're working on to make it's all weird. Basically, they're trying to turn it into an MMO, right? Like right now it's only 50-player servers, and then they just recently increased it to 100-player servers, which is huge for making it actually feel like a MMO, you know what I mean? It's like there's more people, and then they're working on all their like persistent energy and entity streaming and all that kind of stuff so that a bunch of servers can just represent parts of the world and you can seamlessly transition between them and yada yada. So I mean there's a bunch of cool stuff happening in SC right now, but I haven't been able to check it out in a while.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Next time you delve in there, I'll because I'm still enjoying Trackmania, but it's not completely dominating. So that's why, yeah, I'm like, what else am I gonna play?
Yeah, dude.
So I think I'm much more likely to jump in and play Star Citizen than I ever was.
That'd be so sick. We'll take you on some adventures, man. There's some craziness that you can do now. It's really cool.
I'm just gonna be a cameraman, dude.
They added that'd be sick. They added like a raid, like a WoW raid type thing
against like PvE.
Yeah, and it's terrible. Like I mean, it's the AI in Star Citizen make the AI in Tarkov look like, you know, polished, fully fledged AI, but it's like a 2 or 3 hour long mission where you're like going through the city in the clouds of a gas giant Orison, flying from like platform to platform, trying to take down this like gang of thieves that have like EMP'd this place and have it on lockdown and made it a no fly. Like, dude, it's pretty sick. It's like janky. It's like janky, but it's like fun, and it just like gives you that like, man, this could be sick one day vibes. But it's cool. They did a super weird thing. So they did a wipe. They wipe less frequently than Tarkov, but they do wipe sometimes. They have to just like, hey, we're, you know, whatever. And then they did this weird thing where they were like, they gave everybody money after the wipe based on how much they had played during the previous few patches. And like they accidentally like 10x'd how much they were supposed to give. So like people were logging in with like 49 million credits, which is like enough to buy almost every ship in the game. It was like super weird. So then they like re-wiped like 3 days later, and it was very weird. I was just thinking, like, imagine if Tarkov did that and like, you know, Landmark logs in with like 30 million rubles. Like that's like the weirdest. It went
honestly. That sounds like a genius marketing. Like, oh, we fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, because it really is. If they're wiping, if they wipe and give you way too much, like, imagine, you know how many people came back for like a lot of people stop playing, but a lot of people come back and are like, oh, it's the
how much money did they give me? Like,
the fucking pre-wipe events, right? Like some people like the shenanigans and like them because a lot of people just never get a chance to play with high-end gear and you know, whatever. So that's like a genius marketing ploy if it was intentional.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, I'm keeping my eye on Star Citizen. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, but other than that, just Tarkov. Oh, the other thing that I'm like interested about, I put this at the end, but like, did you see anything about the Call of Duty DMZ mode thing? So that's like Call of Duty. It's like they're doing their Modern Warfare 2, right? It's like the next big installment of Call of Duty, and it's going to have a campaign, just like always. It's going to have multiplayer, just like always, and it's going to have the new Warzone, like Warzone 2. Like Warzone, even though there's been like 3 Call of Duties that have come out, Warzone has been the battle royale, like the official battle royale Call of Duty. They keep folding in all the weapons from the new Call of Duties into Warzone, but this is going to be like the next Warzone, and they're adding another game mode, and it's called DMZ, and it's going to be their Tarkov like thing. They're trying to do a Tarkov style mode, which who the freaking heck knows. But all these leaks have come out that they have more people working on the DMZ than they have people working on the multiplayer. Like it's there all these reports, and like they've allocated like budget, like more budget. Like there's all these rumors coming out that they're like, whatever they're doing, whether it's good or bad, they're like putting it all into it, which I can kind of respect, because like that Battlefield, it kind of felt like it was just the like, oh shoot, Tarkov is lit. Like, what if we had our own little thing? You know what I mean? And it just did, and nobody liked it. Everybody was like, it felt like that. It was like attacked on. So this feels like they seem to be like putting a lot of energy into it. However, who knows? But it's interesting. It's just one of those things where it's like, people have already resigned to it, like it's going to be bad because Battlefield, the Hazard Zone was bad. But we've talked about this even a long time ago. This feels like the logical next step for gaming. Like the biggest, like Warzone is like arguably one of the biggest BRs ever. And it swallowed, it was from a game franchise classically not a BR, but with a big enough studio to put enough money into making it the biggest BR, right? So like it swallowed all the other smaller indie BRs that came up, and your PUBGs and your like H1Z1s, and which are the games that really like push the genre forward. And it evolved gaming as a whole. Fortnite left behind the Save the World and just did the Battle Royale, and Call of Duty leaned into the Battle Royale. So everybody's like, yeah, but it's freaking Call of Duty, so it's gonna suck. And I'm like, a few of these are gonna suck, but eventually a giant big box thing is gonna make the next Tarkov, and it like might be as popular, if not more popular. Like this is what the big box titles do. They absorb the most popular thing, refine it maybe down to its most casual state. But like, yeah, this one might suck too. I'm not saying DMZ is gonna be great, but like this is like the people in the boardrooms are very aware that this small little indie Russian dev company is like has hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, and they're going, okay, to me it's like a matter of time before a Call of Duty or a Battlefield or a Fortnite or something does a mode like this just well enough to like crush. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I think about it.
Interesting.
But
we'll have to keep a lookout and see how that goes, right?
It's gonna who knows how long even before it comes out, but it'll be interesting. Now, all that being said, Escape from Tarkov did a podcast today. A very impromptu one. They really kind of jabasted us, man. Like yesterday, we were all just waking up, gaming like normal, and then they tweeted out, "Join us tomorrow." Like, I have the tweet up, dude. It was like, join us tomorrow for the next Tarkov TV Live, where we discuss the future of Tarkov. It was the podcast will be focused on new content and the features in the next update. So it was like, oh, this seems serious. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, sweet.
But that's what it said, because that's not what.
Exactly. That was the tweet. Join us tomorrow. The Tarkov, the podcast will be focused on new content and features in the next update. Sick. And then like an hour later, they tweeted, tomorrow, August 11th at 8 a.m., we are planning to install a patch 12.12.31. The installation will approximately take 2 hours, but may be extended if required. And so like, we were all like, what's happening? And it was like the biggest debate. It was just like blue balls. It was like, oh, it's a technical patch with a few bug fixes. And the podcast was like drunk Nikita rambling for 2 hours. And so it was just like so weird. Everybody was like, oh my God. And then the patch this morning was like bug fixes. And then we get to the podcast where Nikita went, like one of the first things he said basically was like, this is impromptu. It's been a while. We just wanted to, we don't have
Nikita
much.
Just wanted to fucking chill on stream.
Yeah. He was like, we don't have much to show you. It was like one of the first things he said. And I was like, okay. 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 We don't have much to show. Okay. Then what are we doing? But obviously, so we get into the meat of what they talked about. The first thing they talked about was Streets of Tarkov, that it's still planned for this year. That
He said, okay, no, sorry.
Go ahead.
Still planned for this year, but man, they have a lot of work to do, and I can't promise. I can't promise, and we don't know, and maybe not.
I mean, I got the vibe that he was confident it was happening this year. He did say that obviously the thing that they're working on is performance networking. Listen, I'm here. All I'm here to do. I
literally was like, you'll have to watch my reaction video because I called you out. He basically said, we want to do it this year, but can't make any promises. We're not sure. Yeah. He basically said those words. I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines. And I'm like, he said that, and Jesse, Jesse's huffing the copium, and he's gonna be
don't know.
It's gonna be this year, man.
I didn't get that vibe at all, but maybe it's because my head is way far up in the copium clouds.
He said, like, we're trying our best. Well, we can't make any promises.
Listen,
that to me is not confidence.
Yeah, no, you're right. If he said that, then you're right. I was in a call with Velian and Geeks while we were doing this, so there may have been subtleties that I missed.
You heard Streets this year, and you all were like, ah! So you didn't hear him
yeah,
say,
basically,
like, oh,
yeah. He said they still want 30 to 40 PMCs on Streets, and that I think he said something about like there want maybe 20-ish for the first thing, but I can't remember. I don't know if you remember what he said there, but
no, I missed that.
He did, like, somebody in chat was like, somebody in chat was like 30 to 40 is too many. And he like read that and he was like, no, he was like, we might need more. Like the map is so big. He was like, if we put 20 PMCs like in the final map, it won't be fun. You won't find anybody.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. You're never, the chances of two players
literally impossible.
And then you know that there'd be 40 players, there'd be 700 spawns, and 20 players would spawn in building number 1.
Yep.
And 20 players would spawn in building number 2.
And the other 698 spawns would go unfilled.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
100%.
Oh, God.
100%. So that was interesting. They showed off all the cool screenshots, and apparently all those cool screenshots were just of the portion of Streets that we're getting this year, asterisk. I don't know, man. It looks sick. Here's where I'm at. Okay. Streets of Tarkov. Okay, we got to take off our freaking meme hats here. Streets of Tarkov will release eventually. Maybe not half of what they promised. Like maybe the first version that we get, the smaller version, is all it ever becomes. You know what I mean? Maybe there's never 30 to 40 players, but it's going to come out eventually. And what is true right now is that the day before it comes out, all of Twitch chats will still be saying, Streets 2028, you're huffing the copium. So we've crossed over into like, you're gonna be saying Streets will never come out until the actual second it comes out, and then it'll come out and you're the one that's gonna look like an idiot for saying. So it's like, I think,
and no, they're just gonna transition over into being like, oh, of course we knew Streets was coming out, but look at all. Let me insert all the bugs here and say why I was right all along.
So I love the copium meme. I love the copium memo, and I love that whole meme. But like, you're not funny anymore if you're like coming into my chat.
Jess, you calling me out?
No, not you. Like, you're not funny anymore if you're coming in my chat being like, haha, lol, been waiting for Streets for 7 years and you think it's coming out next year. It's like, that joke is old, bro. It's like
we know it's coming out. It's
like up until the day it comes out, you're gonna be saying we're 6+ years away from it coming out. So it's like, it's not a new meme, it's not a new joke, it's not funny anymore. Just, it's like, I don't know, like, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't know. So the copium thing is hilarious, but the people who are just like Lamal, you think it's coming out? Like, you're not the first. Like, shut up, dude. I don't care. So
yeah, I mean, the people that act as if they fucking take it personally and like lose respect for anybody who is optimistic or hoping for, whatever. those are just the degenerate chatters that we all have know and hate.
And I very rarely even state my opinion. I did last year. Last year, I was like, Streets is coming out this year. I believe it. And then it didn't. And I took the L there. But a lot of times, all I'm doing is just saying what Nikita said. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it won't come out this year. I don't know. Like, I honestly care less and less as time goes on because I've been strung along for so long. But it's like, it's just a tired meme. It's a tired meme. All right? Move on to Copium. Do that, but it's just a tired meme to just be like, LOL, they've said this before. It's not coming out for 6 more years. Aha, Streets 2029. It's like, yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, then
all right,
then the full-blown
like
the full-blown Copium memesters they'll dial it back to say, you know, what he's saying in chat right now. Isn't this the same convo we had last year? It's either coming end of 2021 or March 2022. Now it's the end of 2022 or March of 2023. The difference is that we have seen a ton of actual in-game content. Yeah. We've seen a bunch of screenshots. There's actually been there's a lot more progress.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're on the 5-yard line or 50-yard line.
Yeah.
But we know that we've at least had the kickoff.
Yeah.
And we've run 50 yards. We don't know where we are on the field yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't know. But anyways, the screenshots look dope. We'll see. You know what I mean? It is definitely very interesting that literally like a year ago during the Summer Games Fest last year, they said that most of the map is done. The problem is optimization. And then today he was like, the problem is just optimization. Like, we just got to get it working well. And so, I don't know.
Sheaf just said, I could believe that we're closer to the 5-yard line. I'll go ahead and say this. We're within field goal range.
Yeah.
But there are some pretty crazy field goal kickers out there that, you know, you can kick a 60 fucking yard field goal. So that's what I'm the sports analogy coming from JesseKazam, Lamau, but that's kind of where I'm at. Is like we're close enough that I think the more likely scenario is they just kick it, in whatever shape it's in. Do you know what I mean? Like I think we're close enough, and they're like, Nikita's probably like, I can't take another year of this. Like, ship it. Even if it's smaller than it needs to be. You know what I mean? Like, our quarterback keeps fucking up the passes. Our running backs keep fumbling. We might as well just send it.
Just kick it.
And then hope for the fucking best after that. We'll play it by ear. You know, if we miss, we miss, and the fucking defense will take over. But
is shipping it at similar performance to what we had when Lighthouse first came out? Is that a worse reality than having to put it back again, like postpone it again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that a worse reality than your entire community just completely losing faith in you? It's like,
I don't,
maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
I've got just enough experience with this to be dangerous. I could be completely wrong, but like my gut tells me, well, how do I word this? I don't know why. What would be the performance like? Okay, how do I? Fuck. What is the actual performance cost of the map? Everybody's talking about 40 PMCs. To me, I can't. I don't know, man. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm having a complete change of heart.
Now that I've thought about it, I disagree with myself.
Because I'm just thinking about the fucking issues. The issues that they have stem around everything. All the things. I mean, everything. Fuck. I mean, there's really 2 elements, right? It's client-side rendering of all of the assets and textures and everything, and having that be optimized or not optimized, right? Like, are they rendering the building that's a 20-minute walk over on the side there and rendering those items, or is that out of the fucking LOD? Like, you know, I guarantee you there's optimizations they could do with that stuff. With, you know, culling all the things that are supposed to be culled and streaming the textures properly and blah, blah, blah. So that's one element. That's completely independent of the characters, right?
Yes.
Like if you have a giant map and you have 40 characters, those 40 characters are going to be 2% of the fucking graphical
Thank you. That
client side
would
hit
be
on the map.
That would be my guess too. Is that like when Lighthouse, like people, and once again, I empathize with it because freaking video game engineering is hard and we don't know anything about it. But like the prevailing theory is like Lighthouse runs at 12 FPS with 10 players. You think Streets is going to run good with 40 players? And that my thought too is like Streets won't run bad because there's 40 players. Streets will run bad because it's 8 lighthouses and there's 600,000 duffel bags and 7,200 computers. And like I don't think the PMC number is as relevant as like some of these other things, but I could be wrong.
Well, when you see your frames die, it's when you're up on top of the mountain looking towards the raiders, and it's rendering 7 miles of content. If Streets is, I don't know how they implemented it. Maybe it's fucking the worst thing ever, and it's whatever is in your conceptual line of sight, they render in everything in the cone to infinity.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's if there's a skyscraper, if you're surrounded by skyscrapers, then literally nothing past the skyscrapers is being rendered.
Yeah.
Well, then conceivably, even if the map is bigger, if everything was done right, which is not, but then it could conceivably be not as bad.
Yeah.
Now, what I originally, I keep going forward and coming back where it's like, if they had built it properly from the start, it wouldn't be an issue at all. But then I have to say, wait a minute, but they didn't. So their tech debt probably makes these things fucking impossible. So like the amount of data that gets streamed back and forth for like a multiplayer game is, fuck, how do I even explain this? Basically, like if 40 people was like the limit, then they would be still running into issues with 30 and 20 and 10 and like it's one of those things like they should be able to handle infinitely more player information going back and forth if it was architected properly. The thing is that as we know with all of those stutters, it's when they have too many events coming in and it fucking just straight up freezes. But that's not because, at least my gut tells me, and again, I could be wrong. I'd love to hear from fucking experts or BSG or whoever.
Yeah.
But my gut tells me that getting all of those updates from let's say 14 PMCs, how many are on Lighthouse?
I don't know. I think like 16 is the max on any map in Tarkov.
That amount of data should easily be able to be processed and sent out. It's not like it's you're hitting fucking like major data limits. It's not a ton of information. It's just a lot of updates. It's more of, it's a really thin pipe, constantly high pressure. Little squirts of fucking data back and forth between everything, as opposed to one giant pipe that's pumping, you know, a massive amount of water. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to articulate what I'm thinking. And like I said, I know just enough to like be dangerous to where I could be talking out of my ass, or my gut might be kind of close-ish to what we're dealing with. But like when I worked in the robotics industry, I was in IoT, you know, Internet of Things, and it was mobile app talking to the cloud and a dozen robots that are all communicating to the cloud and multiple apps in real time all at once, with
it's crazy,
a reasonable percentage of the data that you would need to send for a game like Tarkov to work. Now, some of it used similar protocols. Some of it was using HTTP REST stuff, which like browsers use, but some of it was using MQTT socket communication. Two people will have any idea what I'm talking about.
Yes, the
I shouldn't have even mentioned. But weren't even remotely close.
Yeah.
To having issues. Like I could write on my cell phone with an iPod, like one of the sorry, not iPod, the like iPhone SE from like a bajillion years ago, just sitting on Wi-Fi, could transfer all of that information, and you could write it extremely inefficiently, like not even optimize it, just the fucking college level projects, and you'd be at like 2% CPU utilization.
Yeah.
Getting the information, deserializing it, processing and updating the UI, having a bunch of information, serializing it back up, sending it over. And like I said, you'd be at fucking 2% CPU, and that's on an iPod or a fucking iPhone SE. It's not a fucking $7,000 gaming rig.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I'm fairly sure that when they do the updates back and forth, they're sending literally all the information always, all the time. Like, hey, here's every fucking item you have in your inventory. Oh, you took a step? Okay, here's your entire inventory with all of the items, everything all the time. Here's the fucking armband. Here's the rotation value.
Everything. Every time information is sent.
The last I looked at the data that was being sent, it was fucking everything.
Interesting.
Because
that was going to be my question.
Back and forth.
It's like, if you can do that, then what's the holdup there? But it's like maybe they're sending a behemoth amount of information that doesn't need to be sent every time information is sent, which is tens of thousands of times a second.
So if they're sending 100 times the information that they need to, they're a really super efficient, although complicated, but possible way of doing it is you just send the delta. You took 2 steps to the right, you could just send that. If you have like something like Trackmania, that's totally deterministic, you could say on this frame they held W, on this frame they held W, and then you could just redo. Actually, I think Valorant does that, where it just replays the simulation. All it needs is your inputs. It doesn't need all of the updates. All of the information. It'll do everything. Oh, if you moved an item, all you need to say is move ID A, slot B to whatever. It's a tiny amount of information. You don't need to say, here's your entire inventory. Oh, you took a step, here's your entire inventory and the
step,
the bullet value.
Yeah.
So if they're sending 100 times or 1,000 times more information than they need to, well, then it's no wonder that 40 people is going to be an issue compared to 15. Imagine if they were sending 1,000 times less, then they could have 1,000 PMCs and have the same data transfer.
That's interesting.
So that's why I'm like, going from 15 to 40 should be fucking trivial.
Yeah.
If they're doubling the players, that shouldn't be. It's 2022. It shouldn't be a problem.
That's very interesting. Well, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll freaking see, man. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I don't know what to think. He said they still want it out this year. We'll see. It's freaking August. There's plenty of time. There's going to be probably a few patches. That was actually one thing that was weird, is that like in the tweet, he was like, what's coming in the next patch? And in the beginning, he was like, we're super excited to tell you about what's coming in the next patch. And then we went through, we've got 14 bullet points here, and like, I have no idea which patch any of these are coming in. You know what I mean? Because like, is Streets coming out in the next patch that's going to happen in a month? Or are we not getting a single patch until December and that's when Streets is coming out? What about the Lightkeeper? Like all this stuff. I have no idea in what order any of this is going to happen. But the next thing he did talk about was the Lightkeeper, which is definitely, once again, like harder and harder to be optimistic about, because like what we were hearing was that like the Lightkeeper was supposed to come with Lighthouse last December. And then it was supposed to be in an intermediate patch halfway through patch 12.12. And then it was supposed to be in 12.12.3. And then
With
it
the
was supposed,
expansion.
yeah, and then it was supposed to be in an intermediate patch with 12.12.3, and we still don't have it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, but he said Lightkeeper coming soon, probably in the next patch, but he didn't give us a date for the next patch.
What stood out to me there is that, do we know? I've been out of the loop for so long. Do we know like what the fuck it's even gonna, what it's gonna even be like? Like I talked about this when I was doing my live reaction, and you'll be able to see on my main YouTube channel, presumably in the next day or two when I get this up. But like, they could make it so that you run to this guy, and when you click on him, are you like in a cutscene teleported off of the thing, or are you just standing there and you can get shot? What does it look like? Can you kill the guy? When you buy stuff, does it go straight to your stash? Do you need the money in the raid? Does it go straight into your backpack? Does it get put into a crate next to him that you then open up?
These are all.
Is there going to be an extract there? There's a million things.
These are all very correct questions that we do not have answers to. But that's why I want to get him in so bad. Because like every time he talks about the Lightkeeper, which he said today, he was like, we still want to keep some of it a surprise. We want you to experience it. But, and everybody's like, what is he going to sell? And I'm like, that is the least I'm worried about. Like, what is the UI? Do I have to bring stuff in? Is he only going to deal with found and raid stuff? If I buy something from him, is it found and raid? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where is it going to be? It is the easiest place in all of Escape from Tarkov to camp. There's a bajillion angles on the hills across if you're running. If you're not going to be able to extract over there, maybe having an extraction back there would be OP as hell, because then you could just go back there, buy and leave. But then not having an extraction back there means it's going to be impossible to get out there and then get back out.
I had an idea.
I don't know, man.
So I talked about exactly all of those things. And then the idea that I came up with that I think would be, whether or not this is fucking iteration 1 or 17 years from now, I think this would be the perfect way of doing it. That it was like a decently fortified structure, maybe with like a mounted gun or something like that, set up on the lighthouse. And when you bought stuff, if there was, maybe the lighthouse light would blink or something, some way of indicating it. And then imagine you bought the stuff. I feel like the best way of doing it would be, everything would get moved to like the big like weapon crate that maybe could infinitely grow.
Yeah.
Right next to him. So that then you could, because just think about all the edge cases around. You buy the stuff, but you don't have room in your backpack.
Oh,
like, where does it go?
Move error. You lost your money and the item's gone. Yep.
Yeah. So like, put it in the case. Let me do the Tetris without being in that UI anymore. Whatever. Yeah. But then, don't have an exfil there. Make it so that maybe when you go to him, he sells a loot extraction flare. You'd throw the flare down, and then you would have like, after 90 seconds or 5 minutes, I have no idea, it all just depends. A fucking drone would come over and land, and he would have a crate there, and you could put the stuff in the crate, and then it would take off and extract it for you.
Yeah.
But what that would do is then it would flip the script to where you would have to push into the lighthouse. And you'd be defending.
I had the literal exact same idea of, what if you put an extract out there, but in order to like initiate that extract, like you either had to turn on the lighthouse light, or you had to like send up a flare to call in like a helicopter extract. It's not actually going to be an animated helicopter, but I had the same thing where it started a 5-minute countdown, and it was like, the whole map knew. I thought the exact same thing. What if you made it a defend the island and not a I have to escape the island? Then it's so much more, because you wouldn't have to do that if you wanted. If you thought you could make it back across, maybe we're doing a night raid and you ran by, you didn't do the thing.
Or you killed everyone.
Exactly. But if you wanted to stay out on the island, then maybe you could sit there and defend it. Now, I think that's too good of an idea to think that will be how it's in the game. But I agree. But the point is, like, exactly, we have no answers to questions. He has that bodyguard, that cultist guy that was in the lighthouse, in the images that they showed us. Nikita even mentioned him. Like, he's got some sort of cult connections. He's got some sort of bodyguard. Remember, like, before we knew there were going to be 3 bosses called the Rogue bosses, before we knew that, one of the first pieces of information we knew about Lighthouse was there's going to be a map called Lighthouse. It's going to have the first in-raid trader, and the boss is going to be a sniper that protects the trader. Those were the things we knew about Lighthouse before they had even started developing Lighthouse. So what is that boss going to look like? They have said, even up into the most recent podcast, you're going to need something to gain access to him. They literally said 2 months ago, okay, leading up to the wipe that just happened 6 weeks ago, they said the Lighthouse expansion is going to be open for everybody. And then through a series of events, we are going to close it down, and you will need something to gain access to it, which will be the thing that will convince that sniper boss to not shoot at you when crossing the bridge. But we don't know what that is. We don't know what event is going to cause that. We don't know when these events are going to start. We don't know what the UI of the trader is going to be. We don't know what he's going to sell. And so it's like, but I get it, because like, if you put on the copium hat and you think about all the things they've said they wanted to do, some of the traders that we have right now, they've said they wanted to put in the game. They've showed us models of Proper. They've showed us models of Therapist, right? This is the better way to do it, because if they took Mechanic and put him on Lighthouse, you'd be pissed because you're so used to buying X, Y, and Z from Mechanic. And if it sucked, you'd be really pissed. So by adding a trader, it doesn't really matter what he sells, as long as they use this to figure out how to have a trader in raid. And then as the game progresses, they can pull some of the other ones if they want to. But it's like, I'm just so interested to see what this is going to be and how it's all going to look.
Dude, the most Tarkov ass fucking implementation that I wouldn't even be surprised if we ended up with is there's just like you walk up and you have a key card that you fucking swipe like labs. Yeah. And all it does is it turns the light green, and that means that the sniper scav won't shoot you. Mm-hmm. And and then you roll up, and then you run to the guy who's a fucking model. Maybe he has a little bit of animation, and then it would be like an extraction timer, fade to black. You're out of the map, and then it just takes you to the trader screen. You buy stuff, and then you're back, in your stash. It's just like a different exfil that just gives you access to that trader screen. Jesus. That would be they'd be like, well, that right there coincides with fucking like, it doesn't disagree, quote unquote, with anything they've said. So again, like, it could be complete and utter dog shit.
It could be terrible,
be amazing. And I can't think of many features that have come out or even have been updated multiple times that were even great, let alone amazing. All I can think of is
VoIP.
Right.
VoIP is simple, but we really were worried they were going to mess it up.
Yeah, and the only part of it was that they didn't do the things that was like things above and beyond that was stupid. Yeah. And they added a specific checkbox that like we didn't, that was a convenient. I don't even remember which one it was.
Yeah. No, I got you.
It was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But that's why I'm just so interested. That's why I just want it in the game, because I want to see if this is like something they've been working on for a really long time, or if this is like some super thrown together jank, awful experience. Now, he said on the podcast today, he was like, this is a really important piece of the future of the game. Yep. So, once again, I'll put my BSG shill hat, my Nikita dick riding hat on, and just like, I want him to be right. I want to believe him. I want to believe that like they've thought about it. It's well designed, and it is part of the future of the game. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. But that's the Lightkeeper. Soon, man. Once again, every single time he said the next patch, I had no idea what he was talking about, because he talked about streets in the in the context of the next patch, and he talked about the Lightkeeper in the context of the next patch. And there's no way we're getting streets in like 3 weeks, right? So it's like, either it's very confusing.
Yeah, and speaking of features that came out that were actually great, the in my opinion, the feature that was the best thing that has ever happened to the game, guess what? They're fucking removing it.
Yeah.
Steam Audio,
Yeah.
or in Nikita, they're removing from the game. I've never been so fucking pissed off in my entire, like, this is, I think, the thing that I don't know that I've ever been more upset with BSG and Nikita over anything.
I really
except
wish
for this.
they had elaborated more on this. Because here, you tell me if this, I am not saying, let me be careful here. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying I can see this as one of the possibilities. And you tell me, in your experience, is this part of it? Is that, as we know and have gone through in detail many times, this current Steam Audio implementation is one module of many that would be something like a Hunt Showdown, which is like a game built on Steam Audio. In an attempt to get the game in a place where all the rest of the Steam Audio modules can be implemented and implemented well, they decided that it's not working, whether it's because of Unity or because of whatever, and they were basically trying to like rework the entire audio system and put in Steam Audio, and it wasn't working, so they've abandoned it to go on, like it wasn't worth the time and effort, so now they're going to do something else. Like, is that not possible?
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
To me, it just seems like they couldn't fucking figure out how to get the ball from the 5-yard line into the fucking end zone. So instead, they want to restart the entire game from scratch.
But were we at the 5-yard line is what I'm saying, with only one module on top of a like I was talking to Winpeg on Twitter about this. I don't know what the other 11 modules of Steam Audio look like, and I don't know what they require to be implemented. Does it like Hunt?
They require a decent amount of work. But what? So I asked Nikita for clarification, because some people are like, oh, they're just going to find another provider. First of all, there really are not. Like, Steam Audio is the like gold
the premier,
standard.
yeah, for sure.
And it's done well in so many other games. And what it added to Tarkov,
yeah, was great.
Was like, it transformed my 3-hour audio. Like, if anybody disagrees with anything I'm gonna say, fine. Just watch my fucking 3-hour-long video on audio before you say anything to me about it, because I don't want to fucking hear it if you're ignorant on the subject.
Yeah.
You can disagree, and that's fine. But when I say ignorant, meaning like you don't know, you don't have the information.
Yeah.
Watch the video, educate yourself. If you disagree with me, fine. That's totally fair. But just, I don't want to fucking hear anybody criticize whatever I'm going to say without having any idea what is in the game, what the plans were, what the technologies are like.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, it just seems the most likely scenario that they couldn't figure out how to do the final bits of it and decided that it was going to be too much work. But yeah, sorry. I think I changed my where I was going.
Yeah.
Your original question was what? How
were we at the 5-yard
modules.
line? Like Hunt Showdown is a game with all the Steam Audio modules, right? So here's the analogy you and me always use. Tarkov.
I would argue we're at the 5-yard line.
Tarkov. Yeah. Okay. Tarkov Audio sucks. And what you did was okay, this is the analogy. I was venting about this to my wife. This is the analogy I used for her to understand, right? You had a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is the best. It's the gold standard for chicken sandwiches. A Burger King chicken sandwich sucks. If you took a packet of Chick-fil-A sauce and put it on a Burger King chicken sandwich, it doesn't make it a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. It was just sauce, right? So if Steam Audio is 12 modules and we had terrible audio and we took one of the 12 and just added it it didn't, like you and me, the argument we kept making was the Steam audio we have doesn't make the audio great. It just made a bad system a little bit better, right? So my question is, a game like Hunt Showdown built on Steam audio, is that all 11 or 12 Steam audio modules on top of a more rock solid audio system, or is Steam audio the audio system? And Tarkov was trying to figure out how to remove their system and replace it with Steam audio. Because if that's the case, having one of 11 modules doesn't feel like the 5-yard line to me. That's my question.
Having one of, okay, let me explain.
Yeah.
One of 11 modules. But consider that the 11 modules is 8 bajillion lines of code and a decade's worth of work.
Yeah.
So it's analogy time. Let's extend your analogy. Right now, Tarkov is a hamburger, okay?
Yes.
But the hamburger is some McDonald's ass fucking flappy, barely fake meat patty.
McDonald's is great, but I'm tracking.
I like McDonald's too.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm tracking.
The like quintessential gross, like this is McDonald's in 1970 versus this is McDonald's. You know, there's a rat in the fucking burger. Okay, it's fucking Pachink Donald's or something. I don't know what the Russian version. The jank
Jank Donald's.
Underway, right? Or
yeah.
whatever
the
interchange. It's a fucking half the time it's got a rat in the burger or someone's fingernail in the burger.
Okay.
But it has it doesn't have cheese and it doesn't have sauce.
Okay.
But it has 2 patties that sometimes are stale.
Yeah.
And a burger that half the time is fucking gross.
Yeah.
And then you have a game like Hunt Showdown, which is a Gordon fucking Ramsay
a gourmet burger. Yes.
Gourmet. It's got, you know, like the best artisan cheese with the homemade
burger sauce.
Fucking burger sauce. The Gordo Ramsay special.
Yeah.
You know, the brioche hand baked bun, everything like that.
Give it to me.
And what they've done so far is they took the patties off. Sorry, the bread. They took the bread off. And they put the really nice brioche bun that's like buttered and baked fresh, and they put that around Toasted. The shitty.
Yeah. 2 patties, no accoutrements.
It's infinitely better. It's still not a great burger, and half the time you bite into it and you get a fucking gross ass rat pieces in the fucking burger. Okay, right?
Yeah, I'm tracking.
Now imagine that you want to say, okay, we're going to start from scratch. You either have to keep with the burger that you're going, or this ridiculous metaphor, to extend it, means throw everything in the trash. We have to find the cows. We have to kill the cows. We have to fucking figure out a way to mail the fucking raw cow meat to our factory, where then we have to process it into the fucking patty properly to then get sent to our manufacturer. We have to source the other cows that we're going to milk them for, to get the culture for the cheese. And then we have to find the wheat. We have to create the farm from the ground up so that we can grow and fucking make the wheat so that we can bake the bread. We need to go and make the special salt. And then we need to go fucking hire Gordon Ramsay. We'll add him onto our team, because who's going to make Gordon Ramsay sauce? It has to be Gordon Ramsay. So that's the problem, is that what they were missing, and I talk about this in the video, was essentially they need to implement on all of the meshes. They need to add what the surfaces are, what the materials are. They need to rip out their whole occlusion system. And then they need to implement the additional fucking, God, what's the word? I'm like so hyped up on this fucking burger metaphor. I forgot what I was talking about. All the different modules of Steam Audio. I went through and implemented all of the modules of Steam Audio in now again, granted, caveat emptor, asterisk. It was a fucking simple ass project.
Yeah.
But I went through and I implemented all of them. And what it consisted of was a single fucking menu that had 7 sliders and 6 checkboxes.
Yeah.
Turn everything on, get the sliders in the right place. And then after that, it was a lot of going through in every single fucking texture. You have to say, this wall is concrete, this wall is concrete, this floor is wood, and go through and do. That's a lot of work, right? But instead, if they want to replicate that themselves from the ground up, they need to write the binaural fucking math equations. They need to implement all of that shit. Yeah.
So I'm fully tracking with you there. Basically, what you're so here's I have a few thoughts. One, it still doesn't necessarily feel to me, even in the analogy, that they were at the 5-yard line of getting the rest of Steam Audio. It seems like relative to the solution of rewriting everything.
Their whole audio system.
Yeah.
You start at the fucking opposite goal line, and to get fantastic audio, had been 95 yards. Most of that being they were at the 10-yard line on their side.
Yeah.
With their own audio, and they added Steam Audio, and that got them fucking 80 yards of progress. Yeah. And then it was just a little bit of work to do the other elements. It's not going to be. I don't know any of the other competitors.
See, that's the thing, is that he very directly said we're utilizing something else. Like, I don't think.
No, he didn't. I asked him specifically because he didn't say. He said, I said, are you going to be creating your own audio solution from the ground up or using another library akin to Steam Audio? And he said, we're still deciding. They don't know what they're doing yet.
Interesting.
They are not going to just swap out.
Yeah.
Fucking, Unreal Engine Audio 7 or, Poggers Audio 19. They might be like, we're just going to fucking build it ourselves.
There's no way, though. There's no way Nikita thinks that's a good idea.
2:46 p.m. today.
I know. But do you think he meant we're still deciding on which other option to go with? Like, do you think that Nikita Buinov, this guy that you've spoken with that many times, is actually considering this far into development, this far behind in development, building their own audio library?
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
I mean, all they got to do is remove Steam Audio, and then they just have to build binaural off of that, and then fix a couple of the. I know the perspective he has, and it's
which is what?
It's every time I get a brilliant idea, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this project, and I think about like it's only this, and this. Yeah. And then you realize once imagine you want to redo your fucking basement, and you're all excited, and you're like, I know how to drywall, I know how to put up, whatever, and then the first thing you do is move all your furniture out, and you're like, fuck, I got to rip up the carpets. I have to take everything out. I have to get a dumpster. I have to fucking hire movers because I can't do this all myself. I need to get paint. I need to figure out what paint I want. Fuck. I need to source the wood flooring. Well, now I need 17 tools I don't have because I don't have a joiner and I don't have a fucking sander, and all my all my drills are all fucking, the batteries are missing, and all of the things you don't really think about, especially because he's 7 pieces
layers removed.
Yeah. My complete just dreaming about what must be going on there, and I'm just making this up out of whole cloth, but I guarantee I'm not massively far off. Mm-hmm. Is essentially like they've been saying for a year, hey, can you do this? And then all of the people have been trying to get it to like work and to get it to sound right, and they just can't fucking figure it out. And every time they do a demo, it's just not really right. And then Nikita's just sick of them not making any progress, figuring out how to fucking implement this thing that a million people have implemented in their games without any problem before, and demonstrably successfully many times. And he's just kind of sick of it, and is sick of hearing people bitch about the audio. So they're like, well, we're just gonna fucking cut our losses and move on. That's what my gut's telling me.
And I'm not even saying that that's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just like.
All I can go off of is what I know.
I know, and that's what I'm saying, dude.
Him.
Is like that to me. The most frustrating thing is like just the lack of clarification. And you can cross whatever, you can draw whatever line you want, listener, as to like what information we are entitled to as backers of the game or whatever. Like, I'm not here to discuss that. What I'm saying is that like I'm very aware of what I don't know, and that gives me empathy when things like this happen, to be like, I don't know. It's the same exact thing with the cheater conversation we had last week. I don't know if they're dropping the ball big time. And if so, I'd be the first person to tweet out at them and be like, you guys suck. Or if there's a bunch of stuff going on that I don't know that inform a lot of these decisions. And so when I hear that they're getting rid of Steam Audio, all of those thoughts come into my head. I go, awesome. You know what's going to be sick? For the next 6 months to a year before we actually get an audio rework, I'm going to have to answer this question 1,000 times in chat from super salty people who are like, well, actually, I told you Steam Audio sucked and was buggy the whole time, and they're going to be misinformed. That's the first thought that comes into my head, is like, oh, sweet. And then the other side, I go, man, I wonder what's actually happening. I'd love any shred of clarification here. And all we got was like a really like abbreviated, like, we're removing Steam Audio, we're going to go with something else. Skill rework. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Can we camp out here for a minute? Like, that's the thing, is like,
I was expecting chat to like freak the fuck out, and like nobody really said much of anything.
At least everybody thinks it's bugged still, bro. It drives me insane.
Yeah, because they're all fucking.
It drives me insane. So, yeah, I mean, so it's like, I just want, like, not to say what you got wasn't clarification. It just wasn't clarification on why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to say, I bet it's because those knuckleheads can't figure it out. But I'm
sure it's a combination of that and
to hear Nikita say that.
And people bitching and moaning about the audio issues.
Yeah.
And then Nikita being like, well, of course it has to be Steam Audio. Like, he's making the same fucking fallacy and the same misunderstandings that everybody
I made
my audio video for.
I'm just hesitant to believe that. I hear that could be true. I'm not saying it can't be true. I'm just saying, like, audio sucked dick long before Steam Audio. It's sucked ever since Steam Audio. Like, Steam Audio helped, you know what I mean? But it's like, so either, like, so I just have a hard time thinking that Nikita is making that same exact distinction and going, oh, these audio issues must be Steam Audio. It would be more believable to me that his team goes, listen, we can't implement this. Like, we've been trying for a year and we can't do it. And he goes, fine, let's do something else. But I just have a hard time believing that he's making that decision. All these issues must be Steam Audio. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying I don't want to live in a world. So,
yeah, look at it this way, though. If an infinitely better solution than what they're going with would be the compromise of, we're going to keep what we have for Steam Audio, we're not going to implement the rest of the modules, and we're going to try to fix the occlusion issues that we have, and then the audio is fucking passable. It's totally fine, right? Think about it. How many places is the audio really fucked on customs? Dorms and Big Red.
Yeah.
Just fucking take the day and move the occlusion layers, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not really accurate, even if you have to hack together some shit, even if you basically say there's no occlusion layers, and you just take the L and you say, if you're upstairs, it's going to sound like there's no walls there. Yeah. But at least you'll know that they're up in that direction, and you'll be able to hear them.
Yeah.
That's infinitely better than
for
anything
sure.
else.
Oh, for
but
sure.
But instead, and I really hope they don't pull out Steam Audio and then leave it not in for like a year while they figure out what they're going to do. And then we're back to fucking square one.
For sure.
Which is no distinction between front and behind, above and below.
For sure.
No idea what floor people are on. And then you still have all of the same things. All that would do is remove audio information, and it will remove the occasional scav yelling for a brief moment from across the map.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people get so butthurt about that, because you know
unreal.
What? It's the easiest, most obvious thing that they can latch onto to complain about the audio. There's all of these dead spots and dorms on it, but they just see audio is bad, and then they bitch and moan about I heard a grenade pin. So you know what? If you fucking heard a grenade pin and you thought it was a grenade and it wasn't, what's the worst that happened? You go fucking prone and you shit your pants.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no grenade.
Yeah.
That's still better than not fucking hearing.
Yeah. Comparing to walking through the woods and thinking you heard somebody right in front of you and he was behind you, and you can't see him in front of you because he's not freaking there, and then he shoots you in the back of the head and you lost your whole kit.
It's still infinitely better. And yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man.
One really quick last metaphor. Do you remember Lincoln Logs?
Oh, yeah.
So imagine Tarkov's audio system is built on Lincoln Logs, right? It's all Lincoln Logs. It's cool. And then someone comes out with this amazing. They want to put an addition onto your Lincoln Log house. You could build it from fucking scratch with your Lincoln Logs. It would just take you a bajillion years.
Yeah.
And it still wouldn't be what you wanted, right? It would be a log ass cabin, which is janky and, drafty and cold in the winter and everything. Steam Audio is like this unbelievably cool fucking mech robot that's made of Legos. And rather than them file into their shitty wood pieces a couple of spots where the Legos can click into and get everything for free, they instead want to throw out the Legos that the one that they managed to fit in because they can't fucking figure out a good way to put a couple more Lego attachments on.
Yeah.
So that's what they have to do. All they need to do is figure out a way to connect the hoses into the pipe and just let it do the work.
Yeah.
They don't have to do much of anything other than integrate with the fully featured system that's already there.
How could it possibly have taken them this long to like even decide to abandon ship then? It's been like
because
2 years,
dude.
It's been like 2 years since they've had the iteration of Steam Audio that we have in the game. That's crazy.
There was probably a period where they put it off and said we'll touch on it later. There's probably a period where they're like dig in and figure it out. Then those people probably left or probably got fired or probably got replaced or got COVID or fucking whatever. And then they decided, okay, well let's try this other version of let's try another approach to trying to get it to work. Maybe they spent 2 months and doing a bunch of stuff. And then at the end of the 2 months, they were like, shit, this really isn't what we wanted. It doesn't really work right. I'm about 98% sure that whatever the problems are, whatever issues they're having, has to do with battle state and their tech debt. They can't get it to not run like shit and and actually work properly, but because of all of their fucking like bad garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
And then that coupled with the one minor bug that the Steam Audio guys are probably like, they're much more likely to fix that issue. Or, I mean, it's possible they already fucking fixed it. And maybe it's in a newer version of Unity that's compatible. I don't know. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's a million reasons why. And I guarantee you that that 2% of it is Steam Audio side and 98% of it is battle state is either not, they don't have the resources, they're not competent, they can't figure it out, or there's just so much tech debt that, like we've got wires hanging from the bedroom on the 3rd floor here. We can't cut this out. Okay, well then try to make it work with this section of the roof.
Yeah, but that's almost what I'm saying though, is like what reasonably minded person with that much tech debt goes, we should knock down the garage and rebuild it because the garage door doesn't set level. Like when you've got wires hanging from the ceiling, you know what I mean? Like
you're acting like they're rational actors. Like they demonstrated for the last 4 years that they have made wonderful, logical, well thought out reasoned decisions.
Dude, I don't know. I get the meme. I get that Battlestate Games is not the best and most efficient team of all time. No, I know, but the meme is like I don't know, man. Like we don't even have to keep talking about it. I just can't believe it. Like currently, more than I do. I will concede that. I know nothing about anything I'm talking about. I will also concede that. But I just don't I just think that it's infinitely more likely that there was a translation error, that something is happening. I'm not saying they're not abandoning Steam Audio. They're obviously abandoning Steam Audio, but he referred to the audio overhaul as the audio overhaul that's coming later this year. And he says everything's coming this year, but it's just I don't know, man. I just don't know that I just think it's more likely that they're deciding which library to go with. And that's what he meant when he said, we're still deciding. You know what I mean? Maybe they're deciding between going with another library or doing what you said, literally just being like, we don't need a library. Let's just fix the occlusion zones and be done with it. Like,
well, even if it's another library, that's assuming that it's as good as Steam Audio and that they're able to implement that as well.
I get it. But that's what I'm saying is like, what if they've made the decision that this library isn't as good as Steam Audio, but we've done some internal testing and we know we can get it in by the end of the year and it's passable, but not as good as Steam Audio. Once again, I understand, like I'm very understanding of the fact I am making this up right now. Like I'm not, but I'm just saying that like I would rather, I'm like stating right now, I'd rather find out 6 months from now that I was wrong about everything I'm saying today than live the next 6 months actually believing that they're considering completely spending 2 years building their own audio library. And like after everything Nikita said,
I would rather sign a fucking petition and get 1 million signatures to say, don't fucking remove Steam Audio.
Yeah.
And spend the time to hard code. They have what, 10 maps? It's not, it's a hack and it's a fucking total, like, we're just going to throw our hands up and say, all right, we'll do it the fucking stupid shitty way because, because we're never going to clean everything up and just go through and fix the most egregious spots.
For sure. No, I agree. I just like, I mean, we'll see. None of us knows. None of us know what's going on behind the scenes. And we definitely agree on our mutual sadness that this is being abandoned. You know, what I said in my video earlier is like, to be honest with you, at this point, I'm almost to the point where I would take passable audio soon than Steam Audio 4 years from now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it still feels so far away. And there are so many games with like, most games live in the zone in the middle where you've never thought about that game through the lens of like, that game had great audio, but you've also never once been like, what is this terrible audio? Most of all games live there. And then you've got your hunt showdowns at the end where you're like, I feel like I'm there. Like, this is incredible. And then you've got your goddamn Tarkovs on this end where it's like, this makes no sense. Like, and not all these games in the middle use Steam Audio. So I'm almost to the point where I would just get me here soon because the audio is so bad and it's so frustrating. But like,
well, okay, so, but think about it. What are the problems with the audio?
Oh,
tell me that's anything more than two things. To me, there's two things. It's the blips of audio, scavs yelling, doors unlocking, or whatever, that might be a couple times a raid, and almost like 98% of the time will have no impact on the success of your raid.
Yeah.
Or not hearing people above you on staircases or below you on staircases or on different floors or in or outside of buildings. Is there anything else other than those two things?
I mean, there's I don't know what all falls under that umbrella, but there's the bugs that I was telling you about earlier today where audio literally just sits where it just like places a node on your reload and that's not working.
Yeah, that's brand new.
That is brand new this wipe. It's the literally not hearing people, not hearing the proper audio. So sometimes somebody can be on your floor, but it sounds like they're above or below you or vice versa. I've had I think a lot of those issues are netcode related. Okay, maybe, but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but they appear audio related. Where I'm unlocking a door and somebody runs up a metal staircase and opens the door, and I get no audio. And then there's the stuff where it's like staircases are terrible. You can't hear below you. You can only hear above you, so you can flank below somebody and they'll never hear you. You know, you can hear through 6 feet of concrete. Yesterday, me and
all of that falls into
occlusion,
the one thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I don't know.
But so, God damn it, I don't know what my command is for the video. Yeah, okay, that's it. The first link. And all of that is what fucking battle state games implemented. Like literally, what you have to do is you have to look at, in my opinion, the two categories of issues, and you have to figure out, you know, the slider of all the issues that you have. What's the most painful? And I would move it to 95% is occlusion related things. I would
agree with that.
And 5% is the annoyance of the other, the blips of audio. And then from there, you realize that 95% of the issues are the tiny bit of fucking audio that Battlestate implemented with occlusion that they were supposed to have replaced with Steam Audio.
Yeah.
But so if they remove Steam Audio tomorrow, what we lose is a massive amount of stuff and 5% of the issues.
Oh, I agree. Well, once again, I totally agree.
Yeah, all I can think of is think about all the times that they essentially were like, we're working on, and don't get this confused with all of the times that they've said this recently that they're planning on doing in the future, because they've done quest overhauls and skill overhauls.
Oh yeah.
They've done all ballistics overhauls, movement. They've done those things a million times already before. They talk about, we're redoing this, we're redoing that. And it's always like, it's going to be this great. Oh, it's the same fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I talked about earlier about how the quest system is like a shallow fucking kiddie pool.
Yeah.
And every time they say we're doing a whole rework, and we all picture it like the rework is this beautiful Olympic swimming pool. And what it ends up being is an Olympic size kiddie pool where they just add 100 more quests, but it's all the same shallow bullshit. They didn't make it any better.
Yeah.
Right? So they went wider, they didn't go deeper.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
So that, and they've proven it time and time and time again, where we're like, they told us they were going to do a thing, we all got excited, and then it was, oh, it's just the same bullshit, and they haven't learned from their mistakes.
Yeah.
And they haven't, all too often, I talk about, these are the issues with AI and why they're bad, and I did that video with the AI, right?
Yeah.
It's not just that they're bad and they're annoying and they're hard. It's, this is what makes good AI. This is what makes bad AI. These are the things that you need to keep in mind and consider and think about.
Yeah.
You can't have great AI in a game without having this whole picture of a design and an experience and whatever. And then Nikita says, okay, we're going to improve the AI. And then everybody goes, dude, just give them the benefit of the doubt. They're saying they're going to work on it. It's going to be this great, amazing thing. And then it ends up being like, they wiggle and then they drink shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, you demonstrated that you fucking cannot see the forest for the trees, and you let us down. And then it's, well, how are you going to fix it again? And I'm just worried that the audio is going to be like that.
I totally get that.
And the problem is that the audio, what they've done so far, is the biggest win they've ever done.
Yeah.
So the only step forward that it feels like they've taken on a feature that was so far behind, they're now taking the massive step back to where we fucking started.
Yep.
And we don't even know. We're assuming that, oh, well, the replacement is going to be this fucking giant pogo stick leap, when really it's probably going to be a third of a step forward. And
I can get behind everything you said there. It's frustrating. It's hard. They've shown us in the past. Like, the AI really is a great example. The AI is actually probably the best example of that, where they said they were going to rework the AI, and what they literally did was like just implement the worst possible human behaviors because of other limitations of the game to the AI. And that was such like an immediate L. We were like, nobody wanted the scavs to wiggle. Like, nobody thought that was necessary for the game. And then now, like we've talked about with VoIP, it's irrelevant because nobody wiggles anymore. People just VoIP. And they turned the difficulty up to 14. Yeah. And
then added 20 more of them.
Yeah.
And then gave them better gear. And then made it
that never jams, but is that low durability? Yeah.
And again, the solution that would make it infinitely better is just make them dumber for now until you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, the solution now is just don't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Just don't touch the audio.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the audio right now is probably the best it'll ever be, and that's really sad.
But don't say that.
I'm sorry I'm so fucking salty, but
no, listen.
Dude, I was like, when Steam Audio came out first, even just the initial implementation, I was like, this is the fucking best thing that's happened to the game. And I spent so long. I spent 3 months, almost full time, dude, 40 fucking hours a week, along with streaming, on researching, scripting, writing code, making proofs of concept, doing all of the hand-drawn shit, recording all of the stuff, getting all of my, like, interviewing 20 fucking streamers, going through VODs, clipping stuff, setting up my lighting and my camera in a way I've never done before, all of this shit to defend BSG and defend Steam Audio. It almost feels fucking personal. I know obviously it's not personal, but it just is like a fucking slap in the face, man. Like, I've never been so dejected ever with Tarkov, and Tarkov's made me feel fucking dejected. Let me tell you.
Dude, I get it. You ever seen those guys that like hang off of like
from their testicles on hooks? Yeah, that's how I feel.
Nope.
Shit, sorry.
You ever seen those guys?
I've been on that password protected Tumblr.
Yeah, like hang off like construction cranes 300 feet above Manhattan with just like their fingers for the thrill. That's me hanging.
Fuck that, dude.
That's me hanging, and this is all I have left, and what I'm hanging on to is hope. That's it. I'm here, so I get it. I empathize with what you're saying, but I have to. My little pinky finger is holding me strong up on the hopium.
Yeah, and your homie who's always been standing over you, being like, "You got this, you got this,"
kicking my fingers,
and he's stepping on your fingers, and he's like, "Dude, it's gonna be good. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make
100%.
You got this, man, aren't you? You got. Think about how great it's gonna be when you fucking." I need to close out this Telegram window with my conversation. When Nikita responded to me with, "We're still deciding on whether or not they were going to roll the audio themselves, or find another library," and I just responded with a thumbs up. I can't look at it anymore, dude. I can't. It's like been in my peripheral this whole time. Me just being like,
yeah. It's a rough one. It's a rough one to recover from. Yeah, man.
It'll be the best feeling in the world when a year from now someone comes to me and is like, "Ha, you were wrong, dude. You said they couldn't do it, and now there's the greatest." I'd be like, "Dude, I was wrong. Thank God."
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's a win if we're wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder, dude, there's going to be like one day of vindication where like, if they remove Steam Audio, people are going to be like, the audio's so bad now. And there's going to be like a tiny little bit of like, I told you, you know what I mean? Like all those people that thought Steam Audio was so bugged and so bad.
No, they're going to go full Alex Jones conspiracy theory and be like, there still must be something left over, dude.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's
we have to move on.
Something left over.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm
real quick.
Insta ban you in my chat if you come in with that shenanigans.
Dude, I have to say, I lost a lot of faith in humanity over the last couple of years. I lost a lot of faith in humanity. You should have seen all the DMs, tweets, and then comments on the last video being like, "Dude, your take on Alex Jones, you think you're smart. You have no idea what you're talking about. He's been right about so many things. You don't fucking understand." Dude, the number of Alex Jones
shot.
The fucking InfoWars stands. Dude, like dozens.
No shot.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Of all the people, he's the easiest one to not defend.
In the whole world.
Dude, you don't understand. The people, fucking God almighty, dude.
Oh.
I need to find this one thing real quick, because for everybody that, all of you guys that just silently was like, "Yeah, no, Alex Jones, what a fucking nut job," and then did nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you,
bro. Unreal.
For the oh my God,
dude. After the podcast, the first thing you need to do, you need to YouTube Alex Jones folk song and listen to it, bro.
I saw it.
It's so good.
It was fucking pretty amazing, dude.
Dude, it's so good.
No, it was pretty fucking amazing. Okay, wait. Okay. Here it is. I got a tweet. "I thought you would have a little more reason to not shit talk Alex Jones." You clearly don't know what you're talking about. You made sweeping generalizations about the listeners of InfoWars. What I also find funny is Jesse had just spoken on when to say things you don't know regarding having enough information to speak on things. I'll first point out to you that the Joe Rogan podcast, where Alex was pretty much proven right in most things with mainstream information widely available to the general public, I would like to extend you the opportunity to prove how wrong you are about Alex Jones and the so-called conspiracy theories you're referring to. And he puts in quotes, if you would like to have an honest and open debate or discourse regarding how flawed your viewpoint is, please hit me up.
Yo, please interview this guy.
Look, I know you won't watch the Rogan cast. I fucking have seen it like 12 times because it's comedy gold.
Yep.
I'm fairly sure you won't debate me because we both know you don't know shit. But we've all heard from the MSM about AJ. I am really disappointed that such a logical person can be so uninformed. I do respect you, and I mean no disrespect, but you're wrong. Incredibly wrong. You don't have to like Alex Jones or InfoWars, but don't be that guy. You won't debate me on this because there's no way for you to get accurate and honest information. You don't say. So I couldn't possibly disagree with you because it would be part of the conspiracy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I have any information, any statistics, any legal anything, it would be
part of the conspiracy.
Part of the conspiracy. If there's no evidence, that supports a cover-up. If there's evidence to the contrary, that is evidence of the cover-up because it was planted.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And what's funny is obviously, like we said last week, I really don't want to go down this rabbit hole deep on the podcast. But what's funny is that like we were taking the cheapest shots at him possible, which was we weren't even talking about the myriad of conspiracy theories he's brought to the table. We were talking about that man literally sitting in a courtroom right now because he's looking at the parents of people who lost children in a school, and he's saying it's fake. Like, that's what we were talking about. And this guy comes that hard to defend him.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Exactly. And the best part is that they'll show a video of him being like literally saying, ignoring the million
I'm hungry, and they're like, see how human he is.
Dude, he'll be on his show saying and then putting up people that directly say and indirectly say and alluding to and then just say I'm asking questions, but in a million different ways saying this guy is a crisis actor. His kid didn't die. They're all actors and it's fake. And they'll put that on the big screen, and then Alex will be up on the stand, and he'll say, oh, I never said that. And it's like, are you fucking kidding? And then you have people like this guy defending. Well, why is it that it's so corrupt? Because they already found him guilty before the court case. There was a default judgment.
Yeah.
How was that fair? All this stuff, blah, blah, blah. It was because for years he didn't respond to anything. He didn't provide any information. He didn't show up to anything. But I'm sure that's just what CNBC, the fake news is getting fuck right off. Like, they're in a different reality. And conspiracy theories, and this is something I want to make some content about at some point. And I may very well start doing React content on this kind of stuff where it's like, here's a fucking UFO sighting. I'm going to explain alternate explanations and why this particular one is bullshit or why this one is interesting or, anti-vax stuff. Like, just all this stuff is interesting to talk about. But conspiracy theories they're like cults where it's a black hole of logic and reasoning.
Yeah.
As soon as you fall into it, there's almost no way out.
Yeah.
Because you can reason your way.
100%.
You can explain away everything.
Yeah. Because if this is true, then it stands to reason that this could be true. And then you can do that forever. You know what I mean? Like, you can do that forever, and you can do it for everything. Like you said, any evidence opposing would be part of the conspiracy. And if you can believe that about one single thing, then you can believe that about anything. And then you just build walls around your own belief system because anything else would be part of this. And
you become immune to And
when you become immune to,
is there something else I can help with?
Fuck off, Siri.
I won't respond to that.
That's what she says when I tell her to fuck off. She goes,
I won't respond to that. Anyways, let's move on. Back to Tarkov. Steam Audio is a giant, depressing piece of poop. They talked about reworking some of the skills with like heavy and light armors and a bunch of weird stuff. They talked about adding more animations to like moving up and down angled surfaces like ramps. He talked a little bit about the storyline quests, which once again, the storyline quest was a really interesting thing because I don't think anybody brought it up in chat. It was just on his list of things he was talking about. The podcast was supposed to be about what's coming in the next patch. He was like, storyline quests, we're working on it. And then the very next thing he said, but they're not coming out until full release, 1.0.
Like 1.0.
And it's like, yeah, okay. What
I
is
think
this podcast about? Like,
disregard whatever the fucking tweet was, because it sounds like he completely flipped the script and was like, I'm just gonna chill,
yeah,
have
and
some
just
fucking
vibe,
drinks,
yeah.
and just talk about whatever the fuck I feel like talking about. And rather than answer all the potentially interesting questions in the Twitter thread I created, I'm just gonna respond to Twitch chat. And honestly, there was a single good comment in Twitch chat in that entire thing. There was one good comment from Twitch chat, a single one. Everybody was like, yo, buff the fucking 5.56, buff the AK-74, and someone was like, buff customer service.
Buff customer service, 100%.
And I was like, oh my God. And he read it too.
Yeah, he read it.
I'm like,
because dude,
fucking roll.
Because dude, he was like, we're gonna do the promo codes again, like we did last time. I immediately, and Valiant said the same thing. He was like, open the website right now. Because 15 seconds later, he was reading in chat, oh, the website's down already. Yeah, like, I knew it.
That was before he even, it was 15 seconds into the cast.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything. He said, oh, yeah, I remember last time the website was down. Can we check? Oh, yep, the website's down.
The website's down, yep.
He didn't say anything other than people saw the cast and everybody's like, fucking log in.
Yeah, it was insane. So yeah, storyline quests, only on full release, lots of other features connected to this. You know, there's a whole lot of hopium there on like cool stuff that could come, but we'll see. I was actually excited because I have wanted this for a while, but I really didn't know anything about it. But like new zones in the hideout, like I've always wanted the hideout to like I loved the hideout. I loved the addition. I love what it does to the game. I was like, give me more modules, give me more stuff. And so he said new hideout zones. He said they wanted to show part of it today, but it was just last minute. So that's super interesting as well. And then he actually said, you heard him about this stuff about like leveling skills in the hideout, which is super interesting. Like a freaking treadmill to level strength, I guess. I don't know.
Like CJ and did you ever play San Andreas?
No.
You fucking god damn it, Jesse! First the fucking Hot Pockets and then this shit.
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry. First Band of Brothers, then Hot Pockets, and then this shit. You fucking
yeah, but for every time I've let you down, I've also given you a movie or TV show that's changed your life. So
yeah, 17 steps backwards, 2 steps forward.
2 steps forward for like 2 of your top 3 favorite TV shows of all time?
It was like 3 or 4, but it's just proportionally speaking. I had a comment that I'm just going to point out my 300 IQ comment that I just made that just because someone was like, I don't get why they do the promo codes on their website, not Twitch drops. Like, what's that helping? And I basically said integration with Twitch drops for them is a pain in the ass. And then I said, so they decided to roll their own, like audio. And I'm guarantee it's going to fucking work just as good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to go back to that because I had to put 17 fucking smiles in chat because
smile. So new hideout stuff's cool. They said they're reworking the grouping system, which I think we'd even talked about in the past. Like, I think that could be cool, just like grouping up and staying grouped, even out of raids and stuff like that. FSR 2.0, which is funny because when they added FSR, that's what everybody was saying was like FSR 2, which is like the AMD DLSS effectively. Apparently FSR 2 was like a huge step up to FSR 1, but FSR 2 had been out and they implemented FSR 1.0, which is weird. But then he said they're implementing FSR 2.0. I don't know a lot about that stuff.
Click that link, by the way. That's what I was referring to. That was like literally you could drive to the gym and you could get CJ fucking yoked. I used to just go in there and bench press over and over. And that's what they need.
Stuff like that in Skyrim. You could go train for like archery and get a few skill points and stuff like that. And Adding volumetric fog.
Yeah, cool. More fog. Great.
Yeah, dude. Jesus Christ. On interchange, man.
Maybe that's replacing the current fog, which might as well just be a fucking 85 opacity
White,
gray
yeah.
JPEG.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry, PNG.
Basically.
So maybe that'll improve it.
I typed in chat like 11 times, interchange rework, please, to try and get him to talk about it, but he didn't read my message. The new weapons, they showed off the AUG, which was cool, and the SR2, which I am actually omega hyped for.
Yeah, they look sick. I was surprised. I wanted him to like sidestep and ADS and shoot and stuff, and it was like, let me reload 900 different ways.
Yeah.
Charging handle, put the mag in. It looks cool, man.
They're great animations for sure. But
I was just like, I wasn't sure if they were doing it live, because I was going to be like, if someone was doing it live, I'd be like, hey, are you going to fucking do something different?
Yeah. Dude, the SR2 animation, the combat reload is nuts. He like yeets the mag out and shoves the new one in. It's so sick.
Is that the one that shoots the shrimp? It looks like an MP7 had sex with an AK-74.
Yeah. Nikita on the cast called it a Russian MP7. Like he was like, that's basically, it looks dope. That is going to be my new bolty sidearm. It's going to be so sick.
Oh, also, that reminds me. Someone said they were talking about guns. They want this gun. He's like, yup. They want this gun. He's like, yup. And then someone was like ACR, and he's like, nah, it's outdated. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like they've got every fucking ancient gun from 1972 Russia.
Yeah, the Taz is a very relevant weapon, but the ACR is outdated.
Well, so then the fucking stands are already typing, yeah, well, but the Taz is a Russian.
Yeah.
Nikita has always said, we want to have every gun in the game. We want every fucking gun. We want them all.
Yeah.
Whenever people are like, you're going to do this gun? He's like, yeah, we want them all. We want them all. We want them all. And then now all of a sudden he's changing to, well, it's only got to be guns that are relevant to this. I'm like, what? Since fucking when? Have you ever heard him say we only want guns that are relevant to the conflict? He's always been like, we want every gun in the world in the game. I love guns. Let's put them all.
Yeah. I don't know.
But not the ACR, though.
That
was the only gun. Like, ACR, I don't even know. Like, I always felt like, at least back in the day, it was designed in 2006, man.
It's outdated. It's outdated, bro. It's outdated.
Oh, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited for the SR2, the AUG. They showed off, dude. They showed off new Glock animations, and then he literally said, he was like, somebody at the office deemed this important enough to show you guys, and I was like,
oh, Glock animation.
I was like, yeah, I don't know who that was, but what are we doing showing off Glock animations when freaking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Looks like Landmark was banned.
Yeah, he just got banned.
I'm sure. Give him fucking 15 minutes. He'll be unbanned. And then the conspiracy theories will continue. But listen, some conspiracy theories are true.
Yep. And that's
Watergate.
And that's why there will always be them, because exactly enough of them are true to make exactly millions more seem plausible.
Well, I mean, if one's true, then all of them.
Then all of them could be true.
If you believe that killing children it can be fake, then you can fucking believe that anything is possible.
Yeah.
That birds aren't real. Well, birds aren't real is actually
that's a fact.
Birds legitimately aren't real. So that's
100%.
Read the fucking literature. I actually meant to hit the mute button and I hit the fucking.
All right, I'm trying to get through the rest of this. The armor hitboxes. The armor hitboxes chain. He doesn't know. That's trying to. They want that to come in this year, but it might not. All right. This. God dang it. This was so weird. The repair buff thing. Did you see that?
I like it. That's the only thing I fucking like.
What? It's so
Man,
weird.
Remember how we talked? It doesn't make sense. Like but like the actual mechanic around having. I think we talked about this before. Having some sort of like uniqueness to the weapons that you have and that you build.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was like, imagine finding the RSAS that has the fucking +2 to crit chance or whatever, like RPG. I actually like the idea of that, because right now the only differentiating factor between any two guns is the mods, which after a while it just loses all of its luster because nobody fucking builds to like look cool or whatever, because there's really only one or two viable builds. I know some people do, but most don't. Or they just build with whatever the fuck they can buy. Or it's the durability. Like I don't know. I like the idea. I like the sentiment. I think it's actually adding some RPG elements for like the first fucking time.
But
it also doesn't matter because they last one raid, so it doesn't fucking matter.
That's the thing. Is that A, it doesn't matter because they last one raid, and B, they're doing it through the armor, the weapon repair kits. Okay,
it's broken, so you're gonna make it better.
It's broken, so we're gonna. But like when they said that they were like messing with that, I was like, yes. My first thought was, yes, I'm gonna be able to find a scav gun and repair it back up to like 98%. But now you're going to get a gun down to 80 durability. Are you going to repair it? Here's the question. Are you going to repair it hoping for the +1 or -1 to recoil and risk a jam? No, you're still going to sell it because you don't want to jam mid-fight. You can already one-tap people. We don't need to make it easier to kill people in this game. It's already too easy. So risking a jam? No way, dude. And then the thing they showed was a slick, and the rare drop was 19% damage absorption. 19%. Do we need that on a slick? I don't know. I agree. A great example is for me the stims. I love the stims. It's perfectly rooted in reality enough for them to take some liberties and do all sorts of fun stuff with it. I love that stuff. But I don't know about this, man. Especially when there's actually other functionality we want out of these things. I want to be able to repair a scav gun. Maybe not to 100%, but maybe to 80% or to 90%. And instead of that, I can put magical fairy dust on it and make it shoot bullets twice as fast, but I'm still not going to use it because it's broken. You know what I mean?
Okay,
it's just
I'm not going to make use the repair kit on the audio. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make the joke.
Just use the repair kit, bro.
I'm not gonna make the joke. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to think of the reasoning. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about. Like maybe if you're a new player and you're struggling, you're probably gonna be using. So let me play devil's advocate a little bit. You're thinking about it from the perspective of somebody who has the resources to fucking have whatever they want.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a player that only gets scav gear.
Yeah.
You can repair that SKS and maybe get a little bit of a better chance, like a little bit of a benefit for using some janky shit, or you might get lucky.
Listen,
I don't know. Like
I want it to be cool. This is something I'm a little bit more cynical about. I don't know how this is going to be cool. It doesn't make sense
mechanics, lore, real world wise, and but it's the first thing that they've done that I was like, holy shit, it's the first, like, we're not going to go 100% realism. We're going to actually try to come up with something that might have value in a video game sense, a role-playing game sense that, I think it's largely, fucking stupid, but at the same time, it's like, oh, they're actually fucking, whoever came up with that idea, I bet you it's the guy that came from like Blizzard or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoever that is, someone's thinking outside the fucking box, and I like the sentiment. It's not the same old bullshit. It's some new bullshit.
For sure. And the thing is it's not even that crazy outside of the realm of reality. It's just a gamified version of it, right? Like if you you could swap out the barrel or do something to make your gun maybe have a slightly higher muzzle velocity. You could use a higher durability plate in a slick. A slick is a plate carrier, right? So in theory, in the real world, you could choose this plate over that plate because maybe it is a little bit more durable. You know what I mean? So they're just gamifying it, but it's just weird. It comes from the whole thing is predicated on, like, imagine WoW. The only way to get the best gear is to get it broken. Like the entry point for this is repair kits. Like you can't get cool new 20% absorbed slicks. You have to wreck them and then repair them to make them better than. So it's just like, it's a weird access point to me. There are other things that I would like better, like out of the weapon repair kits. And it's just like, seems weird. Once again, I hope it's dope. I want to be wrong. I am all for like RPG elements in this game. And I'm definitely all for like everything doesn't have to be one-to-one realistic. It's just, I just don't know about this.
I want to take one more minute to brainstorm this real quick though. Like, so if you have like an infinite amount of money, if you survive 3 or 4 raids in a row and your gun's down to 90% or whatever, I almost feel like it adds, you're motivated if you have, you know, all these resources that you're like motivated to just fucking sell that shit to Fence and buy a fresh one. In this case, it's almost like, I'll take 95% durability. And it's this little bit of a buff. It's almost like a reward for getting a gun in the raid.
Yeah, for sure.
Or for surviving with a gun in the, I don't know. There's elements of it that don't make sense in a Brain Dead. There's also elements that like, oh, you know, I can see it adding some longevity to gear, adding, I don't know. It's
I guess I just don't, once again, in a game where voodoos, you can permanently run in, like you said earlier, optics are everything. You can permanently run the best optics in the game. It's One Tap City, the video game. What things would have to be stack up enough for me to want to risk a jam? Or maybe not me, but like the guys.
What's the jam threshold?
93%.
So, I mean, but what's the difference to like, if you repair something and it ends up at 97%, is 97% drastically different than 100?
No, it's virtually no different than 100.
So then, but if you're at 90%, you're going to want to repair. So if you repair and you end up at 97, then it's almost just as good to have a once repaired gun that might have a buff than it is to have a brand new one.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, is not necessarily the worst thing. I don't know that it'll change the economy of like guns out there, but it's almost like, oh, you know, we're gonna kick you in the balls, but we're gonna hand you a cupcake.
Yeah,
sometimes.
True. Listen,
I'm not gonna say no to the cupcake.
Yeah, You're right.
God, Jesse, you're so negative all the time.
I know. I'm so cynical. So the repair buffs, he talked a little bit about unconscious states, which they've talked about in the past. That's working on the whole, that's connected to a bunch of things. The animation team animating those unconscious states, it's connected to multiplayer actions. Like they don't want to put that in unless your teammate can hit you with an adrenaline and bring you back type deal. Were you still watching when he talked about this?
I think.
Because he talked about, in addition and with this, being able to be like knocked over, but not be unconscious. So he said like, he was like, you might get shot in the leg and fall over.
Yeah. That I think is going to be fucking amazing. And I've wanted that forever.
I don't know about that, man.
Dude, no, think about it this way. When you run, if you're sprinting and you get shot, all it does is make it so that you're just walking slowly. That is not immersive, and it's the most triggering, fucking frustrating, annoying thing. If you're running towards a corner, someone's shooting at you, you get shot, and you fucking roll. First of all, you have a chance to actually fall into cover. 1. 2, you're going to be harder to hit when you fall and tumble for a moment than if you're just standing still.
No shot. Dude, how triggering is it going to be on your 8th raid in a row? You get shot from nowhere, you fall over, the animation to get up is going to be 6 years long, and you're just going to die. Imagine
Okay,
instead
if
of
they
getting
don't-
shot and having a level horizon to look for your enemy, you're gonna be looking up at the clouds and a bush. Where the hell is your enemy?
I like it better. I like it better.
Oh no,
Dude, you can't. When you have no, if they make it so that you fall over and you have no stamina, it's the worst thing they've ever done. If they make it so that your stamina goes down 2% and you fall, like, not your fucking Nana took a tumble and she takes 27 minutes to fucking fall, but like a reasonable thing.
Yeah.
I think it would be a better experience for both people. It'll be immersive and it won't be, dude, just sitting there walking slowly, not being able to move is the equivalent of someone being like, I'm not hitting you. I'm not hitting you when their fucking fingers this far from your eyes. That's what it's like to fucking have no stamina and walk.
And tumbling over feels to me like the equivalent of somebody punching you as hard, Arnold Schwarzenegger punching you in the dick, leaning over your body, putting his finger that close to your forehead and going, I'm not touching you.
No, to me, it's if the guy actually touched me, then I could fucking hit him. To me, it's just commit to it.
Yeah. I mean,
commit to it.
I mean, I understand what you're saying of like, what I'm saying is like the fundamental of it is stupid. Like we've talked about, like you get shot and you have no mobility. That's where we're at right now. You're saying if you're not going to give me any mobility, make it something believable. Like I fell over and I have to get up and run. I'm saying let's go the opposite direction and give me some goddamn adrenaline and give me mobility. So this to me seems like, why are we doubling down on this stupid thing? Why don't we give me the adrenaline? Let me run. It's a video game, for God's sake. I don't want to take a tumble when I got shot. Listen, I hope it's great. I hope it's great. I hope it's great. But I'm going to get shot in the leg and fall over in an open field on Shoreline, and I'm going to get so pissed.
Dude, falling over, assuming, again, they could implement this and have it be awesome. They could implement it and have it be the worst thing ever. It depends.
That's very true.
You fall
very
over, roll, get up on a knee, and keep going. It could. I'm not saying that this is the way it is, but you know how satisfying it is to play Apex and slide, get up? Like,
yeah.
It's not going to be like that. It's not going to be this cool mobility hack, but I'm saying like
that's true. If there's momentum,
fall over and there's momentum and you get up on your elbows and then your knees and you keep running, you will be so much harder to hit when someone has an SKS and going tick, tick, than if you just stop and are fucking in slow motion.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, leg shots are meta IRL, but we're playing a video game. Yes, that's true, but I just don't see that happening. I see it as
Veritas has awfully high expectations for BSG. Someone just typed that in the chat.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Everybody shut up.
Typed in the chat has awfully high expectations.
Everybody shut up. Print that on merch. That's your new merch. Veritas has awfully high expectations for PSG.
I had to interrupt whatever the fuck you were saying because breaking news. Breaking news.
Put that on a t-shirt, bro. I will buy it. Oh my God. Get that framed. You just what that's going to be, bro. You're going to get shot. You're going to fall over and it's going to be a completely stationary animation where you get your knee and then your hand. And then he puts his gun, the buttstock of his gun down, and he uses that to pull himself up. And then he shakes off the dust off his shoulder and he resets his leg. He, undislocates it. And then he looks around and then you gain control of the player again. That's what it's going to be.
You can't get any more annoying than it is now. At least we'll be cucked in a different, new, unique way. It'll be cool for a couple of days, even when you experience it, and then it'll be annoying just as it is today. If you're gonna feed me a shit cake, this is a shit brownie. You're switching it up a little bit. I can appreciate the variety. I'd rather have a shit cake and a shit brownie than just a shit cake. And there's a chance that the brownie might be chocolate, but most of the time it's gonna be shit.
The cornerstone of my argument is the only thing that could make the current system worse is if I don't have the ability to locate the enemy while I'm eating the cake. And the cornerstone of your argument is you could be harder to hit while you're eating the cake. And that's where we just have to see where it comes, how it's implemented, right? Is because if if I just don't, like, you know what I mean? If Nana takes a tumble and I'm rolling and I'm looking up at the sky, or worse, if you land face first in the dirt and your screen goes black for a second and I don't have the opportunity to locate my enemy, at least I'm going to mald harder than the current system. But if you get hit and you go down and you take a roll and you never stop moving, like completely stop moving, and you move and then you get up and you run and you do this, listen, I'm about it. I think it could be cool, but I'm worried. I'm worried about that one.
In my opinion, anything that makes it harder to kill anyone will make the game better.
And that's where you and me are on North Pole, South Pole on this, is I think this will make you 1,100 times easier to kill when you get shot. And you don't. And that's fine. And honestly, we just will have to see how it's implemented. But I like that. You and me.
You think it'll make it easier?
We stand on the exact same foundation there. Yes.
Okay, so there's two elements. First of all, I think so. You're looking at it from one perspective of you're the only one getting shot. Imagine you're the guy shooting.
Yeah, so it would be super easy to kill the guy on the ground.
Well, no. Sometimes this happened to me about a dozen times today, where somebody was sitting there like looting a fucking the airdrop, and I line up a shot and I go tick tick and I hit him arm stomach, and they go oh, and run away, and it's like, come on, like, because I was using PS or I got unlucky or their arm ate, nothing happened. If they got knocked over, they were in the bush and the high grass. I would rather them knock over and then be like, oh, fuck, and then have to get back up. There are plenty of situations where it makes it harder because now he's fallen over into cover. How many times when people get shot, do they go prone? Or do they crouch, wiggle, crouch, oh, God, oh, fuck. All of those scenarios, where you don't, only sometimes do you get shot and go, where's my enemy? Where's my enemy? I'm going to hone in on them and I'm going to shoot them, where they're fucking straight potatoing.
Yeah.
They're going to straight potato you no matter what. If they hit one shot and you tumble, I don't know. I think that there are many situations where it'll be easier, many situations where it'll be harder. We can't know.
No, we can't know.
But
and that's what I'm saying.
I have liked, conceptually, whenever we've had this conversation, I've always said that I wish they would add this kind of thing in Tarkov. Now, when I say it, I don't say I wish BSG would implement this thing how they see fit. It's always, if it was done like this, it'd be amazing. So when they say we're going to do a thing that we've never said we were going to do before, that, you know, you've wanted, I'm like, oh shit. They're actually, you know, I'm sure they didn't get the idea from me, but they're taking an idea that I have and they're going with it. I'm fucking excited that they are at least trying something that is cool, as opposed to, hey, we're making it so that slanted mechanics, walking on slanted, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, nobody cares about that for sure. I'm actually surprised that you hold this opinion, and listen, I want it to be great. And we both agree it could be the best thing ever or it could be the worst thing ever, but I just can't. I'm just surprised that you're for just removing your vision from a fight, and I have no trust. You're talking about you have no trust.
You're assuming you have vision, though. I don't have vision. If I'm running and I get shot, I don't have vision 87% of the time, or time to have a vision, because I'm frozen in place. I have no stamina. My head is blurry, and I got my bell rung, and all I hear is in my ears, and my face shield's cracked, and whatever.
Good, dude. You know, this is going down in history. Like, when this comes out, I will find this episode if you are. You start mauling about.
It's gonna be dog shit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dog shit. It's a great idea. They will execute poorly, and it'll be absolutely dog shit.
But that's okay.
But it's a fucking fantastic idea, and they always implement shitty ideas shittily. That's the problem. That's the problem. They implement bad ideas poorly. For once, they're going to implement a good idea poorly, just like Steam Audio.
Then I'm with you. I never said that I never thought that there was no universe this could be cool. My thought is what's going to happen is whatever animation that's going to happen to make you fall over and get up, you're going to get up with the same amount of stamina we have right now when we get shot. And it's just going to add a layer of bullcrap to the bullcrap cake. That's what I'm saying. It's conceptually, yeah. I just like 15 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, but maybe the choice they're making in the audio department is the good one. And you're like, and your response was, contextually, I have no reason to think that the choice they're going to make is the good one. They say they want to knock me over in the middle of a fight. Is there a universe where game devs make that cool? Yes. Do I trust that the the implementation of this will be that? No, not currently.
There's something about that metaphor that doesn't line up. I don't know what it is, but
I don't agree with you. I think it lines up just fine.
There's something in the game right now that is completely, utterly frustrating and dog shit and annoying. And then they're going to change it.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that Steam Audio in this. I'm saying your expectation of the future due to context of the past. That my expectation of the future, this feature, due to the context of the other features.
Oh yeah, no. My initial reaction was not my expectation of the feature.
Yeah.
When BSG, now think about this, because you have a 2-second period of time to think about and respond. And everybody be honest with yourselves. When Nikita said you're gonna get shot and there's gonna be physics around falling down or whatever, nobody thought, well, BSG is going to implement this poorly because historically everybody thought, well, that's just going to be fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Because they thought about them getting shot and falling over. And I was like, that is what something conceptually I've been talking about for a while.
I see what you're
and
saying.
Oh my God, Nikita just said they want to do the smart thing.
I see
now,
what you're saying.
If you ask me how they're going to do it, it's going to be dog shit.
Yeah.
But finally they're like, hey, you guys ever think maybe we should make chocolate cake and not shit cake? And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And everybody's like, nah, dude, it's going to be a shit cake again. Yeah, but at least now he's thinking about making it out of chocolate.
All right. See, listen, then we can agree. We can agree there's a universe where it's awesome. We can agree that conceptually they're thinking...
and we all have hot dog fingers in that universe.
They're thinking... We can agree that it's nice that they're thinking out of the box. So, and all of those core competencies of this argument, I agree with you. And you agree with me that it's gonna be terrible when they implement.
Yeah, contrast that with Steam Audio, which is it's a terrible idea and it's gonna be bad.
And I get that distinction.
That's why it makes me extra sad.
I get that distinction. But yeah,
Alex Jones did nothing wrong.
We'll see.
Hashtag.
He said vaulting and climbing is still planned,
yeah,
which is interesting. I know.
We'll see it. Okay, bud.
I know. I found that interesting because
someone did the whole, you said they would never do it. Yeah, and all Nikita did was, we're planning on doing it.
I know.
I'll fucking believe it when I see it,
Now was the time. The community would have never been more prepped than right now for him to be like, yeah, we'd really love to add that to the game, but I don't think it's good. Like, right now we're just not really thinking about that. You know what I mean? Like, now's the time for them to make their exit on that feature because...
We can't do all of these things because we're behind and we have so much to do. So instead we're going to implement our own sound and our own anti-cheat and we're going to do vaulting.
Nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared. They would have been like... Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, let's fix the game. Don't worry about vaulting it. But he doubled down on him, and he was like, "Yeah, vaulting, climbing." And still, I was
Tower,
like,
send those to me immediately. Tower just said, "I have the ladder animations from 2018. If you want to throw those at people, hopes and dreams." I hope it looks like some fucking Diablo 2.
Yeah, dude, please.
You want to talk about getting fucking locked into animations that you can't control? Think about climbing a fucking ladder.
Yeah.
Think about them implementing that into the map. Because what they're going to do is they're going to put a fucking weapon crate that has a 2% chance to spawn a Bitcoin at the top of a 45-meter fucking ladder climb.
Yep.
And...
Yep. He talked about... They've completely rolled back on their original talk about this, but he talked about adding the ability to have boss clothes and stuff like that. And Tagilla's hammer, which they've been very against adding in the game for a really long time, but they're kind of rolling back on that.
Fucking, I don't know what today was. I don't know if Nikita's blazed out of his mind. He's gonna come back and be like, "Yo, dog, I was fucked up yesterday. Forget everything I said."
He was hitting that vape, bro. He was hitting that vape hard. He talked about rebalancing the game once it's farther along. There's a lot of stuff that they're working on that they don't want to show. Little tidbits of information on the arena. They want to show us more. They teased that little stadium map. They want to have 4 maps to start. Not sure how many gameplay modes. They're working on matchmaking and ranking system. He talked about this in the past, some little spectator mode with an actual camera module you attach on your person, and then you can like watch the footage. Maybe you watch the footage of somebody you killed. I don't know how that's going to work.
He said the term esports.
He said cyber sports, and then he said esports later.
Fucking cyber sports.
Dude, yeah. Listen, hey, he said a ranking system, which there was confusion in the podcast. They talked about the arena. There was confusion. He was asked that question, and it sounded like he said there wasn't going to be a ranking system, but he said it today, which is good. But yeah, he was on that Vape Nation today. I don't know, man. We'll see.
Cyber sports.
Cyber security.
I don't know why when I hear cyber sports, I just think about slam ball.
Slam ball. Holy
Remember
cow.
slam ball?
Yeah.
The fucking, was it basketball with
freaking trampolines? Dude, they're bringing it back. You know what's crazy? I hadn't heard of slam ball in so long, and like yesterday I saw an article and it was like they're bringing back slam ball. And I was like, oh damn, slam ball was lit.
Yeah, that's all we need is more fucking compound fractures on live television.
Yeah.
I've actually never watched slam ball and have no idea if there's compound fractures. I just know I'm mortified of trampolines and know that the one time I tried to do a backflip, and I can do, like, with body flight, indoor skydiving, I do backflips all day long, whatever. The one time I was like, yeah, I'm going to try a backflip on a trampoline. It was like bounce, bounce, backflip. Oh, I just woke up from fucking 45 minutes of being blacked out and my head hurts. And where the fuck am I? I'm like, just a complete and utter teleportation to a new universe because I just backflipped off and landed on my fucking head from like 10 feet up. So fuck backflips.
Yeah,
that's all I can think about is.
Thank you.
All I can think about when I think of slam ball is.
Oh, thank you.
People dying. But listen, I landed on the ground. I fucking rolled, and the sniper that was shooting at me couldn't hit me.
Yeah, he couldn't hit you, bro. You were not an easier target, laying down face first in the dirt. That's for sure.
And I could hear everything fine, and it was a great cyber sports experience. Thank you for watching the podcast.
Tarkov is perfect. Yeah. That being said, that is everything in the podcast from the podcast to talk about on the Pogcast. We'll see, man, dude. Woof. It's definitely a weird time. A weird time for Tarkov. A weird time for the community. I don't know. That's all I got. So lots of stuff coming at some point between now and the day we die, potentially. And that was today's podcast. Yeah, it really was Tarkov or Nikita just kind of like talking about whatever he wanted to talk about. And we got some new information. We got some sad information. We got some cool information. Hopefully we get Streets this year so I can finally stop getting told it will never come out.
So that you can fucking get shot and trip and fall and then it takes a tumble in 11 FPS.
You not hear anything?
Without hearing anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck, have fun.
1.0, they ship it.
You're gonna fall face first into a shit cake.
Yeah. That'll be my streamer item. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk where we mauled about the way
we went back and forth from being way too positive about what Battle State's going to be able to pull off, to shilling to
Veritas. You have some high expectations.
Did you copy paste that?
No, I should have.
I don't. Because I've already forgotten.
I may be gone, but I'll remember it forever. Also, I just saw for the very first time in chat that Landmark got banned. That's the first chat message.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers to Landmark.
Officially, the first chat message.
Because it's one of those things that, like, if he actually got banned, then, like, great, he deserved it. If he didn't actually get banned, cool, that's like $10,000 he's about to make in the next week just from, like, all of the... heaven forbid he doesn't get to fucking play Tarkov for literally probably half a stream, and he's gonna make like 1,000 subscribers.
Bro,
who the fuck cares?
He probably saw that message and went, "Oh,
cha-ching!
Thank God, I don't have to play this game for a little bit."
Yeah, that and oh my god, I'm gonna get 8 million views on my next video because
Yeah.
he's gonna actually be able to be like, he's gonna be a Tarkov streamer that is actually not gonna have to lie and clickbait and said, I got banned in
Yeah.
Tarkov.
Yeah.
I'm actually a cheater.
Oh god.
Fuck out of here. He gets to go play fucking Fall Guys.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging. Thank you guys for listening. If you don't like it, stop watching. But you guys are pretty sick. So thanks for hanging with us. It was a cool podcast. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks.
Cool.
And and maybe you know, check out some Veritas' Trackmania content. And maybe I'll be on Star Citizen here in a few days. It's a cool podcast.
God, the best thing I could have done was get banned. Fuck.
Cool podcast. But yeah, this will be live on all the platforms early next week. Thank you so much for hanging with us, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Bye.